Tonight on the Black Channel. Folks, where do I even begin with this one? Last night, I was looking, I did a program last night about the right-wing civil war, but there was something else I didn't talk about during that Megyn Kelly Tucker Carlson get-together at Turning Point. There was something else I did not mention because, quite frankly, I just couldn't square that circle. I couldn't figure out how in the hell do I address this. I guess and I thought it over and I'm like, I can't do this. There's no way I can't talk about this. But in light of recent events, I'm afraid that I have to here, people. Now, I might offend some folks here tonight, but Tucker Carlson claimed he was attacked by a demon. What? No, people, I don't mean a metaphorical demon. I don't mean a social demon. I don't mean a symbolic demon. No, I mean a literal exorcist, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom demon. For real, Ghostbusters demon. That's what Tucker says. No, I'm not making this up. I didn't play this last night while Megyn Kelly was wearing the peppermint suit. But yeah, that's literally what Tucker Carlson said. If you don't believe me, here's the story.
You think you were attacked by a demon. And
Nigga, what?
So as you can see, we coming in hot.
You think you were attacked by a demon. And I have to tell you, like, a lot of people mock this, they roll their eyes, but I look at
I wonder why, Megyn. I wonder why, because she said a lot of people mock this and they roll their eyes. Yeah, even she can read the room.
People mock this, they roll their eyes, but I look at what happened to Charlie, what happened in the wake of Charlie, what happened at the Ascension School in Minneapolis, where that man went in there and shot a bunch of little children praying at their church school. And I challenge anyone to tell me there aren't demons among us.
Oh, I'll confirm that, Megyn. You're one. She's even dressed in all red. Damn! I mean, if Megyn doesn't look like a weird Hollywood version of a female devil, the female impersonation, the female embodiment of the devil, doesn't she look like one of those Hollywood sitcoms, female impersonation of the devil? The female incarnation of the devil. But on this stage right now, I see two devils. I see two demons right up here on the stage. So yes, I definitely agree. I can prove they're demons. I got two of them on my screen right now. They've danced on the graves of dead people. They've celebrated it. They've defended acts of debauchery, slaughter, genocide, murder. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got proof of the demons.
Well, I never thought there were. I thought the whole thing was bizarre.
So what happened?
Because culturally, I'm just not from a world where people are attacked by demons. And in fact,
yeah, I mean, you guys are the demons who do the attacking. So of course he's like, how can I get attacked? I'm on the gang.
I thought the whole thing was bizarre.
So what happened?
Because culturally, I'm just not from a world where people are attacked by demons. And in fact, when it happened the next morning, when I saw the blood on my sheets, I was I actually called someone who works for me, who's a very sincere, lifelong evangelical, and I'm like, have you ever heard of this? And she's like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. And I was like, what? Not to.
Okay, folks, if you're part of a group where that kind of thing's happening all the time, you might want to check your connection to your God, to be totally honest with you here. He might be trying to let you know, hey, when you and me ain't really that cool. Because there's a whole bunch of atheists out here, and they ain't getting done like that. So I just thought you should know that, by the way, hey, if you're allegedly on, the Christ team, and yet this is happening to y'all all the time, you might not actually be on Christ's team. That might be Christ letting you know, hey, I don't really rock with you like that. Yeah, I'll take care of all these other folk, but you, no, I'm gonna let the dogs have you. So yeah, you might want to check your affiliation there. You might not be as tight with the heavenly clique as you tell yourselves that you are.
sheets, I was like, I actually called someone who works for me who's a very sincere, lifelong evangelical, and I'm like, have you ever heard of this? And she's like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. And I was like, what? Not to Episcopalians, it doesn't.
Stuff it down.
Yeah, no, it was wild. Yeah, I mean, I'm not embarrassed at all, and I don't care if I'm mocked. Don't get anything out of making this up, and I'm not making it up.
But what happened?
I had this crazy experience where
I'm glad that he doesn't care if he's mocked, because there will be much mocking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not embarrassed at all, and I don't care if I'm mocked. Don't get anything out of making this up, and I'm not making it up.
But what happened?
I had this crazy experience where I was in the truck with someone coming back from quail hunting, and I had all of a sudden we were talking about someone I despise, and all of a sudden I had this crazy empathy for the person, like really intense empathy, like I could understand why this person was doing these horrible things.
Oh, he's such a great Christian, people. I'm talking about somebody I despise. Every time he turns around, there's somebody he hates. So what a wonderful embodiment of the love of Jesus Christ. The most vicious, vociferous, hateful, putrid individuals, and yet they're saying Jesus' name. That might be why Jesus is like, yeah, dude, hey, that demon is your wake-up call. You and me are not really tight like that, man. You keep bringing my name up, and you're not even really on the team. So I let that demon get a hold of you, so that'd be a wake-up call, but very clearly that didn't go very far.
And I said to the person in the truck, this is a family dispute, right? So I said to the person, maybe my brother, and I said, I think I know what's happening here. This person feels this way, that way, this way. And my brother goes, how did you know that? I said, I don't know. It just like, and my brother goes, I think like God is like speaking through you or something. And I felt total, true empathy for this person I truly hate. It was like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. I have no idea where it came from. My brother's like, I think.
He's talking about hating somebody, and then his brother's like, well, I think God's speaking through you there. I think that's somebody else. Not God there. I'm thinking somebody else is actually doing the talking around here, to be totally honest.
Total, true empathy for this person I truly hate. It was like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. I have no idea where it came from. My brother's like, I think that's from God. Like, there's no way you could. I was like, well, that's kind of wild. So then I get home. We have this huge dinner party, which we always have dinner parties, and I forget about it. And I'm telling you this because they're twinned. The one leads to the other. I had this profound experience with God, like profound and beautiful and unexpected. And then I go to bed with my wife and 4 dogs who sleep in the bed. My wife said 4 children. My dogs are hunting dogs. All 5 of them wake up like that. Like we have no home invaders in my house. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I check and I couldn't breathe at all. My throat was closed. It wasn't like I had apnea or was strong as I couldn't breathe. So I get up.
Do you see Tucker Carlson's neck? Did not talk about that last night. He's talking about he can't breathe. I'm like, dude, hello. I don't have sleep apnea. Are you sure about that? Did not talk about Tucker Carlson's neck last night. Did not talk about this last night. And he's swearing, I don't have any problems right there. I'm like, dude, this isn't a problem? This no problems at all, huh? Wow, you people are just, a whole new world of delusional, but all right. I'm white and I say so. All right, fine. I guess they figure it works for Trump.
Because they're twinned. The one leads to the other. I had this profound experience with God, like profound and beautiful and unexpected. And then I go to bed with my wife and 4 dogs who sleep in the bed. My wife said 4 children. My dogs are hunting dogs.
Did he say the dogs sleep in the bed? What? Did he say the dogs sleep in the bed with them? People, if you got, it's 2025. Dogs ain't really supposed to be in the house like that, folks. Some of y'all got dogs in the bed, on the couch, in the kitchen. Damn! Come on now. It's 2025, people. If ain't nobody told you, I'm here to tell you. Y'all got dogs in the house. That means there's dog hair everywhere. Y'all are like smokers. You don't realize how infested the environment is. Go take a look at your air conditioner filter if you can get it pried out of the wall. If you got dogs in the house, dogs, cats, llamas, monkeys, whatever the hell y'all got. No, you got 5 of them and they're in the bed. Can you imagine the sheets? Oh, can you imagine the sheets? Can you imagine the dryer's lint filter? Can you imagine the hay fever, the allergy? These people that have hella allergies and swear up and down it's got nothing to do with the dogs sitting, 5 dogs on the bed. What could possibly go wrong?
Like profound and beautiful and unexpected. And then I go to bed with my wife and 4 dogs who sleep in the bed. My wife's had 4 children. My dogs are hunting dogs. All 5 of them wake up like that. Like we have no home invaders in my house. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I check and I couldn't breathe at all. My throat was closed. It wasn't like I was apnea or was strong as I couldn't breathe. So I get up, I stand in the doorway of our bedroom, and I'm like, wow, I'm dying. I can feel myself starting to gray out. And then I started walking in the backyard, and then it slowly came back. Like my throat kind of opened up a little bit. I was like really weirded out. I walk back in, and my wife wakes up. She goes, what is going on? I said, I don't know. I can't breathe. I feel better now. And all of a sudden, I had this horrible pain underneath my arms, like on the side of my chest, like bad. I thought I'd been like ripped with a knife or something. It just was very intense. So I go into the bathroom, I flip on the light, and I have claw marks on both sides, on right and left side on my ribs. And
Tucker? Yeah. I think I've heard enough now. Tucker, I think I know who the demon is. The demon was not Nosferatu. This wasn't a John Constantine situation. Tucker, you're new to this, but your woman might be dreaming about something. Women do this, Tucker. I know this is new to you. Women do this. Women do this, and usually it's a good sign. Usually it's a good sign when women do this. This may be new to you, Tucker, so this might have you spooked out a little bit, but women do this, and it's usually a good sign, although she might not have been thinking about you. So I'm not here to spoil nothing. I'm just saying, okay, I think I know what really happened here, Tucker. I don't think I have to wait very much. I think I've already figured this out, but yeah, must have been a demon. No. It's just, you're a square, you're awkward. So,
like bad. I thought I'd been like ripped with a knife or something. It just was very intense. So I go into the bathroom, I flip on the light, and I have claw marks on both sides, on right and left side on my ribs, and they're bleeding. And they're literally claw marks, 4 on either side. I put my fingers in them, don't fit my fingers, and I sleep on my side. So how could? And by the way, no one woke up. So I show my wife, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I have this like crazy intense desire to read the Bible. So I read the Bible, and I pass out in like 2 minutes, and I wake up, and the next morning I thought, "Man, did I have a wild dream?" And then I see blood in my sheets, and I go in the bathroom, and I have these bloody marks. And my wife goes, I think you were attacked by some supernatural being. And I was like trying to be logical about it. And I was like, yeah, I definitely was. And then I called one of my producers who's like, oh, yeah, well, that's pretty common. I was like, what?
Sir, I need to see the sheets. I need to see the DNA. I need to see proof of this, because I'm pretty sure this is actually a very mundane, secular, there's a very rational explanation. Your woman might not want to go into details, but I'm pretty sure there's a very rational explanation about this, and that one's not it. But folks, I mean, this is the one that they immediately leapt for here. This is the one they went for.
Wild dream. And then I see blood in my sheets, and I go in the bathroom, and I have these bloody marks. And my wife goes, I think you were attacked by some supernatural being. And I was like trying to be logical about it. And I was like, yeah, I definitely was. And then I called one of my producers who's like, oh, yeah, well, that's pretty common. I was like, what? And I've had a couple other experiences, not that crazy, but where you really feel God's presence, which is marked by peace and true empathy. Love for other people, which doesn't come naturally to me. I'm kind of a dick, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. You're so important. Satan and the guys down there in hell are holding a lodge meeting talking about, okay, hear ye, hear ye. We're not worried about these preachers and pastors, the clergy, the exorcists. No. Those are small fries. We really need to be hitting up Tucker Carlson. That's who we really need to be targeting. All the demons are down there, and they got their suits on, or they got their pitchforks. And we really just been playing around up here. All these other folk are small fries, but that Tucker guy, who's gonna go after him? Who are we sending? And then, it's just like Beelzebub Jr. And he's just like, I'll go see him tonight. And y'all can take a look on your screens here, by the way. So there's some folks who made this AI animation here. And it's, Beelzebub Jr. and was nominated for the hit. Beelzebub Jr. was nominated for the hit. He was nominated to go do the hit. So it's, okay, don't worry, I got him. And how do you go back to hell and tell all of them that Tucker's still alive? Because here's the thing, okay, if you're going to get Tucker, why didn't you get him in the car? I mean, I don't mean to sound very nefarious right now, but not that the demons of hell need advice from me on how to clip somebody, but hey, I have a few questions for the demons here. This might be an inopportune moment. This might be a little awkward, but just out of curiosity, why did you wait till he got home and was safely in his bed with his 4 dogs? I mean, didn't he say he was behind the wheel at the time when originally he was behind the wheel? So we didn't do it then? We're going to leave him alone? We're just going to wait till he's in bed. And we're not trying to kill you. We're just trying to really annoy you. We're not trying to take you out. We're just really trying to mess up your sleep cycle tonight. So that's my thing. I mean, you guys have been haunting and just aggravating and condemning mankind now for thousands and thousands of years. You've been hounding and hunting mankind. And I was just curious, he was behind the wheel. Are you really trying to take him out? Or are you just really trying to annoy him? That's what I'm asking, because he was behind the wheel. It seems to me that was a prime moment. If you're really trying to get rid of somebody, I'm like, oh, this is the moment here. I just need to make him black out for a few seconds, and the Carlson situation has been resolved. You can go back to hell and say, hey, Lucifer, I got this taken care of. How do you go back to hell and tell them, well, the plan didn't work? Well, what did you do? Well, he was driving home. Oh, good. He was going down the freeway. All right. He was very, very upset. All right. Alibi. He had somebody else with him. Oh, good. Nobody else figured out what it was. He was driving at a high rate of speed. All right. I waited till he got home. What? He got in the bed. Wait. Back up. You waited till he got home? He was on the freeway. You let him go home? I'm new to this, man. This is my first time. I hadn't really done a lot of these. So I was trying to wait till the right moment. Next thing I know, he got home. I'm new to this. I don't do a lot of these. Okay. Well, what happened next? Well, he was in the swimming pool. Oh, good. You can get him now. But he just seemed so relaxed. Oh, boy. I knew we should have sent Sam Hain Jr. here. We sent Beelzebub Jr. because your dad's connected, but we should have sent somebody else. I waited till he got to sleep. Oh, great. Wonderful. Take a look at the rookie here. The rookie waited till he got home, took a shower, perhaps, went to sleep. He snuggled up with the dogs, and all right, now that he's dead asleep, now's the time. Okay, what did you do? Well, I kind of put my hand over his nose so he couldn't breathe very much. Okay, well, I guess that's a start. And then I wanted to torment him, so I ripped his sides. Okay, wait a minute. If he's not breathing, if you rip his sides, that's going to wake him up. Oh, I thought we were going to be sadistic. So yeah, when you walk this through logically, it's like, okay, even if I take this story at face value, I'm like, who in the hell are they contracting down there to do the hits nowadays on people? Because this was amateur hour if I ever witnessed it. Who in the world is putting out the contracts on these people? I swear some kindergartners could have gotten this better.
But you know it when God is acting through you. And then they're followed by some wild attack. Like, why? I've had a couple things. It's just like, well, anyway, I'm not an expert on this. I'm hardly a theologian. Of course, I would never pretend to be an expert on anything. I can only say what happened to me. It was 100% real. And it completely changed my view of the world.
Well, what did you learn from your conversation with Lee Strobel, who wrote a book on the supernatural and who also wrote The Case for Christ? Many of you guys recommended that book to me, and it really was amazing. And Lee Strobel.
Okay, the most demonic people, and they swear up and down that they are just totally immersed in Christianity, and they are the most demonic, hateful people. It's just insane.
Came on your show in September.
Yes.
On his new book, which is about the supernatural.
Yes.
It's about miracles,
amazing.
it's about angels, it's about demons. It's a great read. But was there something in there that spoke to you?
Everything about it. I mean, I grew up in a church, I'll just admit it, with shame, in the Episcopal Church, where all the supernatural stuff was taken out. And at a certain stage in my life, I was like, why am I going to church? I love hanging in bed with my wife and dogs on Sunday morning. Like, why am I? And we were ties to church. Like, why am I doing this? There's nothing in here that's like, be nice to your neighbor. Okay. Like, if it's not supernatural, then what's the point? And when I read the Bible, it's like, it is about the supernatural.
Yeah,
like, that's the whole story.
It's true.
It's like God intervenes supernaturally, bigger than, above nature. And that's why it's different from every other book. And the New Testament especially is filled with Jesus casting out demons. I literally didn't know that. I knew there was the crazy guy in the cemetery who broke his chains, but I didn't really realize that not only was Jesus, but also the disciples were casting out demons that were possessing people and causing them to hurt themselves.
Wow. You know, folks, maybe this explains it. Maybe Tucker's been reading the white supremacist Bible, which is what I've always told you all. And he's like, wow, I didn't know Jesus was casting out demons. Yeah, Jesus also said, love your neighbor and not to hate other people, Tucker. You know, all that white supremacist stuff you do. Jesus would be very much against that too, considering the fact that, he looked like us black folk over here. Don't let that get in your way. He wasn't Caesar Borgia. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch that Tucker doesn't know about Jesus. There's a whole bunch, Tucker, that clearly you don't know about Jesus at a very, very basic level. I know you think Jesus hates niggers, but no, that's really not true either. So, yeah, if he doesn't know the thing about casting out demons, yeah, he definitely doesn't know the basics. He definitely doesn't know the basics, absolutely. So that's Tucker Carlson, folks. That's Tucker Carlson, and he would like you all to know that, among other things, and I know a lot of y'all lately are like, I kind of agree with Tucker. I'm like, okay, well, Tucker says he was attacked by a demon. He went home, he got into bed, he went to sleep, and while he was asleep, he was attacked by a demon. Now, he says he didn't see the demon. Now, notice he didn't say he saw the demon. He had trouble breathing. He couldn't breathe. He got claw marks on him. There's blood on the bed. He's presented no evidence whatsoever that I've seen, but yeah, all right. These are the people who would dare to criticize, impugn, condemn, and attack us. These are the people who would do that. And all I can say is, exhibit damn me A. Exhibit A. But I imagine more of that's happening there, because you find out what people are made of when you put them under adversity. When people are under adversity, that's when you find out what they're made of. That's when you find out. And a lot of folks are under adversity right now. A lot of people are under adversity right now, and Tucker is obviously, pardon the expression, feeling the heat. What? Literally, it seems, but he's not the only one. He's not the only one. Oh, there are other folks out there. Now, I have tried to let you all know about this stuff here before, man. Tried to let you all know about this stuff here before, because there are people who are wondering and people who are doubting, and and I have to remind you, because you'll forget about it or you'll think something else that didn't happen and actually did occur. And Tucker's not the only one right now looking real weird and real crazy, people. He's not the only one. I told you all that the beat rolls on for Dd'Souza. Dinesh D'Souza and the Indians and stuff, I mean, they've snuggled up and tried to kiss up, and I mean, they are still catching the beats. They are. Oh, Dinesh, boy, y'all, I'm going to try to take this in order here, because this nice program is about MAGA's biggest names have officially gone nuts. They're saying stuff that I don't even know if I can repeat, to be totally honest. That's why I'm playing it, because I don't even know if I can repeat it. He didn't like this post here. You misunderstand this, which seems common to you. It's Dinesh that pretended to be colorblind. He posts here just proves the point of the other side. Immigrants don't ever fully assimilate. They always care about their ethnic collective's self-interest. These nitwits don't even understand the meaning of colorblind. It means laws that take no account of race. It does not mean we don't notice our own ethnicity or reject any identification with our ancestral background. Can any reasonable person say, I have not assimilated? And then what's the first comment 20 hours ago? I don't care. You have a home. I want mine back. I'll do whatever it takes to get back. Well, to get it back. Oh, well, how it started, how it's going. This person here just said yes in response to the question. Can any reasonable person say I've not assimilated? This guy here, yes. I can say it. So, oh boy. Okay. So, yeah, he is still catching the beats over there. But folks, this was the nice one. Oh, this was the nice one. Oh, Dinesh is still upset here. So Trump apparently has come out and endorsed Vivek Ramaswamy for governor of Ohio, because Vivek needs as much help as he can get right now since Trump's base clearly doesn't really rock with him like that. And look what he said. Oh, Trump is giving a nice finger to all the bigots. What? Who are the bigots, Dinesh? These are your friends in MAGA. Who are the bigots? The bigots and full-time losers who are trying to take Vivek down and hand Ohio over to the Democrats. Okay, well, clearly the bigots aren't the Democrat side. Clearly the bigots are not the Democrat side. Oh, man. And there are folks here posting up to let them know what they don't like about Vivek. Oh, man. All right. Well, I like you and I appreciate your stand against the Democrat Party. Vivek called Americans lazy. Okay. All right. They're giving them the beats. They're giving him the beats. Okay. He was trying to here, folks, but they're giving him the beats. You call us bigots for wanting to be represented by our own people, yet you practice identity politics. The right has been the literate clearly haven't taken over. So I don't know who's the right has been taken over by foreigners. Well, it certainly hasn't been taken over by the grammatically capable. So clearly that's not the case. Oh boy. So yeah, y'all. They're giving Dinesh the beats, and he's starting to get a little sassy. He's getting sassy, and he's calling his MAGA friends bigots. He's getting a little sassy. So the right-wing MAGA civil war / food fight, oh, it's just getting uglier about it. You thought this was just limited to Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes and Ben Shapiro and all those folks. Oh, no, folks. I've been keeping track of this and coming back to remind you every week that the beef is on. The beef is all the way on. Not partly, all the way on. So this one right here, folks, take your kids out the room. Oh man, get your kids out the room. This guy here named Tyler Oliveira, he said, after much consideration, I have decided I will not be releasing my documentary capturing India's Yoo-hoo throwing festival. Damn! I've been doxxed and threatened by thousands of Indians over the last 2 weeks. Thousands of Indians, sir? Tens of thousands of Indians have turned my life into sir, which is it, thousands or tens of thousands? Tens of thousands of Indians have turned my life into a living hell. My family has been attacked in ways I never could have imagined. Showing up to this Yoo-hoo festival was the worst decision of my life, and I severely underestimated the power of India. I am only one man. I cannot defeat the combined power of 1.5 billion Indians who yearn for my destruction. I simply cannot continue fighting this war and must choose my battles. This one simply isn't worth it. I never meant to offend Indians, their religion, or their culture. I just wanted to participate in this unusual Yoo-hoo throwing festival and share it for the world to see. I ask that all Indians reading this please leave my family alone. Thank you. 8.3 million impressions. So, yeah, there's that. And Dinesh decided to respond. People, when I talk about these folks have lost their minds, I'm talking about what you're going to read here next. So Dinesh read this post, and this was Dinesh's response. Here's a chart showing the median household income by major racial and ethnic groups in the United States. So there's Asian, Hispanic, Asian, white, non-Hispanic, Hispanic, and then black. To which Dinesh said, how about commenting on this festival? It seems like the future belongs to the bomb throwers. What? Damn! Dinesh, that is not owning the chuds the way you think it does. That's not owning the chuds like you tell yourself it is, Dinesh. I mean, I can think of a number of killer comeback lines. That one's not the one. That's not the one, Dinesh. You don't want this to go viral. You don't want this on t-shirts. You really don't. This is not a slogan you can use for career day, at the high school. This is not the one, Dinesh. I know in the heat of the moment, this seemed like, this one's gonna be a zinger, man. Just wait. No, Dinesh, no. I know we're gonna turn our negative into a positive. This is not the negative that you can turn into a positive, Dinesh. Not this one. Pick a different one. Not this one. This is the wrong one to choose. So when I talk about them losing their minds, people, I'm talking about stuff like this. The future belongs to the stuff throwers. Dinesh, I know some of y'all see us in black society. You're like, you all can say the N-word. To all you people who think we're wrong about that, I'm like, okay, these other folks like this is their alternative. Hey, well, the black folk can say the N-word. Why can't we do this? And I'm like, yeah, bro, this doesn't translate the same. It really just doesn't. This does not translate the same at all. This does not work. Period. I know you think it's like, this is our version of the N-word. No. So yeah, y'all thought it was bad in other places. Imagine what it's like to be him and you're trying to make this pop off. Yes, this is really from his Twitter page. I'm showing you live from the Twitter page here. So, And then they were roasting him down here. This person here, how much better Indians are than Americans, it's odd that neither you or your daughter are attracted to them.
Damn!
Yeah, real interesting there. Yeah, Dinesh loves Indians so much that neither him nor his daughter are interested in one. Isn't that amazing? Well. Yeah, that got weird real quickly there. So yeah, he's just, getting roasted and lit up and everything else. And one person here is like, is he the Jews? Okay, so yeah. Folks are reminding him, thought you weren't interested in race anymore, but very clearly. Dinesh feels bad because the white racists over there have been hazing him. And he's taking it bad, so now he's trying to push back against them. And this doesn't end well because they own your little oddball ass. They own you. You already sold your soul to them, so that's it. You push back against them and they bury you, which is where you are right now. So that's it. He gets his card revoked. So, yeah, people, he is so upset with the racists over there that this is the kind of stuff he's saying as a comeback. This is what he's saying as a comeback because they have got him so frazzled over there. He don't know what to do. He just doesn't know what to do. So he's trying to hang in there and stuff, and it really wasn't going very well for him. And then the Groypers and whatnot have been giving him hell. They're talking about the Reagan generation. Of course, he makes up a bunch of stuff here. So, because when you see there's a whole bunch of social ills that kicked off during the Reagan administration. So he's trying to redeem them, and that's not working. So yeah, forget about it, man. Forget about it. Of course, he's had a few choice words about Tucker and Christians in Nigeria. So it's all right. There's just a lot going on over there, y'all. There's just a lot going on. However, when we talk about MAGA, we got to talk about some folks that might as well be members of MAGA. They might as well be because, yeah, these folks have paid them tens of millions of dollars and definitely have a printed engraved receipt for their asses too. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring up one Van Jones. Van Jones would like to let us all know about who we really need to watch out for and really need to take care of. And people, this is the end of Van Jones right here. This video right here is the end of him speaking on black people or black issues ever again. He already was a speechless personality because of the company that he keeps already. But this right here, he goes into withering detail, unambiguous withering detail. And I'm going to let you hear it for yourselves so you can see what he said or hear what he said. And then we'll let you comment on it.
1.3 billion Chinese people in the world. God bless them. There are 1.4 billion Indians in the world. God bless them. There are 1.3 billion Africans in the world. God bless us. There are 1.4 billion Catholics. I'm a Protestant. 1.4 billion Catholics in the world. There are 2 billion Muslims. There's only 15 million Jews left in the whole world. Only 15 million left. Their numbers would have been massively bigger if it weren't for the Holocaust and the centuries of violence against them before. And you have 15 million left, and half of them live in Israel. Half of them, by the way, if you want to play the color game, are people of color who are Jews that got chased out of Yemen. Mizrahi and Sephardic Jews, they got chased out of Yemen. They got chased out of Egypt. They got chased out of Ethiopia. And they share their country with 20% Arabs who have mosques and rights inside of Israel. But it is the tiniest little place in the world, smaller than, the people say smaller than New Jersey. It is smaller than Phoenix County in Arizona. And that's where half of the world, the remaining Jews in the world, are clinging to their existence. And when that group comes under attack, humanity has a special responsibility to defend them. Now, sometimes you're going to like their government, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to like their political policies, their economic policies, their military policies. That is completely fine to debate. But the idea that the West should abandon them to their fate we already ran a 3,000-year experiment where Jews did not have a state, and it ended with Hitler's hell and Hitler's ovens. We are not going to run that experiment again. We don't have to do it again. We already did it. And anybody who can't understand the basic logic of that needs to explain why they can't do basic math about who in the world is the most microscopic minority that deserves the support of humanity.
I have some questions to ask. Candace Owens has always been a professional white ass kisser. And when you look at who she sleeps with, it explains everything. I don't know, folks. I've never checked into that with Van Jones. But when you start cooning at this level, when you start cooning at this magnitude, I don't know. That's a question I never really looked into before, because for you to be this dedicated to it, to go home to your family, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Who are you going home to? Who are you going home to that you're stomping this hard? You must be going home to somebody who's like, okay, you better get out there and dance. You better get out there and dance for anybody and everybody except yours. So if you're not dancing for us, you must be dancing for somebody else. Oh, no, no, no. Let me tell y'all something. That ain't $100 million right there. That's not $100 million worth of cooning. That's somewhere around 200 or 300 million. For you to totally degrade and debase yourself like this, that's not $100 million worth of cooning. That's 200 or 300 million. The 100 million is the one on the table. Y'all understand how laundering works here. Somebody throws a big bag and then you just like, okay, that number is so large, you can't question anything. I mean, if he buys a big house and a few Lamborghinis and stuff, how would you know the difference between somebody who spent 100 million and spent 200 million? How would you know the difference? So I'm telling you, cooning like this? Oh, no, no, no. The bag was bigger than 100 million for this right here, because they gave that a while ago. Either that or he's on the installment plan. What? But yeah, to be cooning like this? Oh, no, no, no. Now that bag about two or three times the amount now, because you can't walk this backwards. You can't walk this backwards. The greatest genocide in world history was ours. The biggest genocide in world history was ours. And by the way, carried out by many of the people that he's sitting up here defending. All these other groups that he named, all these other groups that he named have taken part in attacking us, oppressing us, genociding us, ethnically cleansing us. All those other groups he just named. We haven't done that to anyone, even when we had the opportunity. We haven't done that to anybody. You're trying to project our righteous grievance and our righteous position onto other people. We are the only non-aggressors that you can show anywhere. We're the only ones. So for him to sit up here and be describing our experience and trying to project that onto other people, that's high treason. I need you all to understand something here. And y'all know I know these people. Y'all know I talk to them. Y'all know I met them. I'm just letting y'all know. You don't get to be a part of these things unless they own you. There's a video up on DJ Vlad's channel right now. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can go ahead and get that up for y'all right quick. I think I can go ahead and get that up for you all right quick. There's a video that's up on DJ Vlad's channel right now. I'm not going to play it. I don't think I have to do that. But I am going to just let you all see the title of it. And I'm pretty sure that'll just speak for itself. I could do a lot of things, but I'm really just going to show you the title of it there. And I'm pretty sure that this will say everything it needs to know for you, for itself. He's talking to a fella named Mike Benz. He was talking to a guy named Mike Benz. And if you take a look on your screens here, you can see the title of the video. And the dude goes into detail about this. Mike Benz says that Leor Cohen and YouTube give preference to music artists picked by the State Department.
Nigga, what?
And I mean, he sits up here and goes into detail about it. He had shown this. Where is it? There it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to just play this briefly. Fair use, Vlad. But in any case, just really briefly, because he was the one talking about it.
So, well, you mean, hold on.
Go
so
ahead.
You mean to tell me that Leor Cohen is somehow in bed with the State Department in terms of what exactly?
Well, literally, yeah. Go ahead, put it on screen. Look up the State Department Global Music Diplomacy Program. It was jointly announced by Leor Cohen and Secretary of State Tony Blinken. This is a formal U.S. State Department program to give preference to State Department hand-picked rappers, hip-hop artists, country musicians, every genre of music. And this taps into what has been going on for about a century, but it's been put on steroids.
You see that date? Do you all see that date? June of 2024. I don't think Joe Biden had dropped out of the election, just out of the race for president just yet. I don't think Joe Biden had even dropped out just yet. But by the way, this is not dated for the Trump administration. This is dated for last year, the Biden administration. And what he's saying is this has been going on way before then. He just gave this specific example, but he was saying that this program's been going on way before then. And this is just one example. Where do these deals come from? Where do these $100 million deals come from? These rappers showing up. And by the way, this guy keeps going into detail talking about the Nigerians. He's saying that that's the reason why they're grabbing so many Nigerians and really trying to appeal to them, because that's their way of trying to soften up Nigeria and get Nigeria to be more agreeable to American influence over there instead of the Chinese. I need y'all to understand something. I've been talking about this for a while. Whether it's your rappers, whether it's your athletes or whatever, these are hand-picked people. They hand-pick them. And if somebody throws $100 million, whether it's $100 million for a rap, for a music contract, a sports contract, an entertainment contract, or a media outreach, whatever contract, nobody pays that kind of money because they just really think you're groovy. Nobody pays that kind of money because they think you're groovy. They pay that kind of money because they want to own your ass. So when you ask why it is that your athletes, once they can have $100 million and they don't say a word in our defense, you would think with $100 million, they'd be totally free to say whatever they want to say. No. You didn't get the $100 million because you're a great ball player. You got the $100 million specifically so that you don't keep your ass quiet. That's the reason you get the $100 million, $200 million. You don't get the $100 million, $200 million because you are, just this special person. You're handpicked. We covered this. I covered this in 8 a.m. From the college level. They choose specific people. They choose specific people. The folks that they pay that kind of money to, they are handpicked. There's a reason why there's a bunch of ex-strippers and whatnot. They're not fighting the status quo. A bunch of ex-strippers, and who showed up for Kamala Harris? Who showed up for the Democrats? Y'all just remember all them folk who showed up. Meg Thee Stallion, Beyonce. I mean, it was the damn who's who. What do you think you got that $300 million contract for? I mean, the State Department runs your distributor. By the way, you all should go check this video out. You should go check this one out because he goes into detail about that. He was talking about the fact that the State Department used that against Google. Google was shutting down Trump's social media accounts and stuff, and then they wanted to get some help over there in Europe, and State Department's like, why should we help you in Europe? Europe's going to shut y'all down, and put controls on you. Why should we put pressure on them when y'all are sitting up here dissing the president? So they were going to Trump's State Department, trying to get them to help them out while they're sitting up there clipping Trump's social media. Where do y'all think this stuff comes from, man? I need y'all to understand something here. I've been talking about this for years and years, but I need to remind you all one more time. The U.S., everybody talks about the mafia paying for Hollywood. People, the U.S. government pays for movies. What? They've been doing that for decades. Remember the Jack Abramoff scandal. Jack Abramoff dropped the damn dime. The Defense Department puts money into budgets for Hollywood movies. Michael Bay notoriously has the U.S. flag in all of his movies, so prominently featured. Michael Bay films, the Transformers movies, Bad Boys, everything he does, the U.S. flag is all over the place. That's not accidental. That's the deal. That's the agreement. Tom Cruise and other people, if you want access like that, you want the State Department to help y'all out, Department of Defense, and you got to play ball. And that's what they do. Abramoff went into more detail. He was naming specific movies like Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren. For those of you who are old enough to remember that one was just fully paid for by them. A Russian soldier who defects and then goes to fight the Russians. So that Dolph Lundgren movie, Red Scorpion, but that was just one among many. That was just one of the few that they named. Canon Pictures, for those of us who go back to the 80s. So all of those really pro-American military movies, and these guys going back to Vietnam and winning the Vietnam War after you lost the Vietnam War. So Chuck Norris and Missing in Action. Canon Pictures, that was all that Canon Pictures did. That was really all that Canon Pictures did. Even when you think about it, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Okay, Canon Pictures kicked off Jean-Claude Van Damme's career. Okay, but where were those movies started at? They were started in Asia. Bloodsport, Kickboxer. Where those happened? Asia. Braddock, Missing in Action, Asia. Rambo, Asia. Yeah, Rambo 1 was America. Rambo 2, the big budget one, where was that? Asia. So isn't that very interesting? Within a decade, people, a decade after the Vietnam War, and take a look at all that going on. And who was saying, remember, Ronald Reagan said Rambo's a Republican? What? I got to remind you all, for those of you who are not there because your parents might have been on the slow bus or just really negligent and nobody's reminded you, go Google all these things I'm saying. Reagan said Rambo's a Republican. Now, he might have been, folks are like, oh, well, he's referring to Sylvester Stallone, but no, that's not accidental, people. That's not accidental. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando, we can go down the list. All these jacked up dudes, and they had to look a certain way, and they're throwing bombs, and Yo America. And no, it's not lost on me, G.I. Joe, the cartoon. That indoctrinated a generation of children. Which, by the way, remember that one had government funding? What? I mean, that one was connected to the government. Remember all those PSAs that they had at the end of every episode of the G.I. Joe cartoon. For those of you who are too young to remember, or you weren't even born yet, you can go look it up on YouTube. The episodes are there, I think, on the channel called Hasbro Pulse. You can go take a look at the old G.I. Joe cartoon episodes from the 80s. At the end of every episode, there was a PSA. They were all very nice. They were all very helpful. But you can take a look at what it said. It had a little disclaimer at the bottom. At the end of every episode. Yeah, it gave a PSA to kids, don't drown, don't pick up electric wires, things like that. Okay, don't talk to strangers, good. But then you took a look at the bottom of it as it was going off. It's like, oh, wait a minute, who is that? Who is that? Knowing is half the battle. Knowing better is the rest of the battle. Yeah, I mean, we can go down the list here, people, but the government choosing, you think these projects are just naturally taken off on their own. When the government gets behind it, it's like, okay, you've been selected. Here, you drill rapper, you get this contract. Because you're going to be talking about everything except white supremacy. You will not be discussing that. Sound familiar? Cardi B. I mean, am I black? I don't know. Cardi B was not afraid to say anything right up until you start talking about race. Then Cardi B locked up. She got lockjaw. She started glitching. Soon as we start talking about race with Cardi B, all of a sudden, the chick who wasn't afraid to talk about anything, all of a sudden starts glitching. Isn't that interesting? Kodak Black and ASAP Rocky, all of a sudden, we ain't concerned about race. All the folks who tell you they're not concerned about race, and it's like, by the way, who the hell gave you a record deal? Who the hell would give you one? Joe Biden and George W. Bush and Barack Obama, they'll give him one. They'll give him one. And so these cats, you want to know why it is there's so many of these people, some of these immigrant rappers, go watch this. This just came out on DJ Vlad's channel. Y'all can go watch this. I mean, when you look, he's going to tell you. What this guy says here, you can go ahead and listen to him and you'll be like, oh, hell, it all matches up. This explains everything now. It explains everything. Yeah. The government's like, okay, we're going to collect this one over here. You're connected. We're going to talk to you. Okay, you get a record deal here. Okay, you're from the Caribbean. Okay, we need a whole lot more folk from the Caribbean. Okay, you from Nigeria. We need to do that. Okay, you niggas from America. No, we ain't worried about you. Okay, yeah, you drill rapper over here from Haiti. Okay, we can do that. These are whole government programs. They're not giving you... These guys are getting plucked out of obscurity. They can't even spell. Now they're just doing stuff sentence by sentence. Go look at what they call punching in, which is really just insane. But now they're just doing it sentence by sentence. I'm like, okay, I can't say they're barely literate. They're not even literate. Who the hell would give you a record deal? Who in the hell would do that? The State Department, that's who. The State Department and all their apparatchiks, because you are there to promote their agenda. These people didn't come out of nowhere. They chose them for that reason. And so when you have somebody who gets $100 million and he's dribbling down the court, or $100 million and he's running down the field, or $100 million and he's drill rapping some nonsense, or $100 million and he's sitting on CNN, and when he talks about black folk there, it's oh well, but when he talks about Jewish people, all of a sudden humanity owes them. You know, with that $100 million, Van, is amazing here. I guess Van feels like he got his reparations. Damn the rest of us. Jewish people are doing excellent. They're doing excellent. They got a voice. They got voices all over the place. If we had 1/10 of the vocalization that Jewish society has, do you know what we would get done? So Jewish people have a voice. Van Jones gets $100 million. Black folk ain't got nothing. Even the so-called black folks they put on TV, the only people they talk for are white people. Candace Owens, Van Jones, Coleman Cruz. Oh, I almost forgot about that one. Oh man, y'all didn't want me to get into this tonight. Y'all did not want me to get into this tonight. Y'all didn't really want me to get into my bag. You need somebody else. You don't need somebody who's gonna just come up here with a Rolodex full of invoices. You don't really want that. Doing this for a reason. Doing this for a reason. Yeah, man. just to remind y'all here, because there'll be some folks who act like they don't know. There'll be some folks who act like they don't know. Yeah, there's this too. Guess who works for the free press? Guess who works for the free press? Coleman Cruz. Yeah, and guess who's ass kissed and everything else there, and now all of a sudden, just like Van Jones, somebody done made him a contract. Coleman Cruz works for the free press. Now, for those of you who may not be aware, there's a very good reason why that's important. Some of you are a little bit more mobbed up than others, and some of y'all are a little bit more mobbed up than others. So, want to go back here. There's been a big scandal kind of in the news here recently in journalism. There's kind of been a bit of a scandal. Some folks are really not happy about it. They're really not happy about some things here because they don't like, what it implies. They don't like what it means. But Coleman Cruz works for the free press. If you're not familiar with the free press, it was started by a chick named Barry Weiss. I think she started a Substack. She used to work at the New York Times, but she's a right winger. She really likes to talk about the fact she's Jewish. I'm like, that's neither here nor there. But then again, I guess it's relevant because she keeps mentioning it. Anyway, she's got mobbed up with Larry Ellison. He's, the Jewish people in the media are all getting together. Okay, that's fine. They bought Paramount. Okay. But take a look at this here, because a lot of folks are upset because just last month, Paramount out of nowhere, Paramount offers to buy this Substack, the free press, for $150 million. What? Absolutely no one can explain why this is. There's nothing in the free press's financials. They don't have a following big enough to justify something like this. So out of nowhere, Larry Ellison wants to buy Paramount, which is CBS. And he also buys the free press for $150 million. And now Barry Weiss is in charge of CBS News. This woman who used to just work as, some minor associate at the New York Times. She starts a Substack. She leaves New York Times because they're too liberal. She starts a Substack, and then next thing you know, Paramount wants to buy it for $150 million? And then they make her in charge of CBS News? I'm going through this to let you all know what kind of money is really moving around. These are the kind of figures that are really moving around. So when you take a look over here and you see Coleman Cruz, and it's like, by the way, these niggas talk crazy, man. They're bought and paid for, dude. They're bought and paid for, man. Everybody's chasing a bag. And I taught y'all years ago, niggas come cheap. So Candace Owens, Coleman Cruz, Van Jones, man, it's not accidental. It's not accidental. There are folk out here willing to throw millions if you can beat out the rest of the competition. So that's what I'm saying. They got a voice. They got a voice. Okay, the free press wants to be a mouthpiece for Israel and their Zionist Jewish agenda. Okay, fine. I mean, that's cool. Okay, do what you do. But don't have Van Jones come over here and tell me about what the rest of the world needs to do when clearly you've got gross overrepresentation for speaking. You got way more resources to speak. Nobody's silencing you. You got resources to speak. I mean, exploding out of your eardrums. Don't send Van Jones over here to tell the rest of us, okay, we interrupt this broadcast about black folks so we can tell you about who really needs help. Some white people over here. Don't try to play that game with me. I'm not with it. So I wanted to take this as a moment to let y'all know that these folks are out here, man. They're going crazy. They're losing their minds. They're flipping out here. It's bedlam. It is bedlam. It is absolute anarchy. The inmates, I would say they're running the asylum, but then again, I mean, that's all they can do at this point is run. So yeah, there's that too. However, you might disagree. You might. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and pin the link to the Zoom to the top of the chat room here. And we're going to give you an opportunity to go ahead and call us up. And you can sound off on this for yourselves here. I know it's a little bit off the beaten path. I didn't touch on it last night because I was really trying to figure out now, do I really even want to deal with this? Because if these people look crazy, then y'all would be like, Jason, why are you talking about these crazy people again? I'm like, well, they're kind of dangerous, you know. It'd be different if they were just sitting around hallucinating about demons and left us alone. But yeah, Tucker Carlson is like, you know, what's old boy back in the day? Sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me. I don't want to get a copyright strike from music tonight, but like Rockwell from the 80s, y'all remember Rockwell? I always feel like somebody watching me. And yeah, Tucker, it might be your personal demons letting you know what a bad person you are, Tucker. I'm just saying. Your inner psyche is probably trying to let you know that, yeah, we ain't cool with you, man. We're just not. So we're just not. In any case, let's go ahead and get them up. We'll go ahead and put that at the top of the chat room there, and you all are more than welcome to give us a call. In the meantime, I'd like to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to my man Logic Before Emotion. He's been giving out some memberships here tonight. We appreciate that. To Tom Slick, Joe Blow, Ike Kennedy, FBA Queen. Thank you very much for your support tonight here as well. Shout out to my man, Mr. Richburg. Thank you very much for your support tonight, brother. We appreciate that. To Keenan, to Mr. Fremont, and to everyone else, thank you very much for the support. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. And when we come back, if you all are so inclined, you can call us up. Let us know what you think. Tucker Carlson says his demons are literally attacking him in the bed at night. Is this real? Is it fake? Is this white supremacist psychotic embolism? You make the call. This is the Black Channel.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Just to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we ripping the games. Listen, be the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And yeah, we've been talking about how MAGA's biggest names are just literally going insane. They're literally losing their minds. Tucker Carlson talked about it last night that he was talking to Megyn Kelly at Turning Point, but yeah, there was something else he said that I really didn't want to address last night, and today I was like, you know what, I would be remiss if I didn't touch on this.
You think you were attacked by a demon. And I have to tell you, like, a lot of people mock this, they roll their eyes, but I look at, like, what happened to Charlie, what happened in the wake of Charlie, what happened at the Ascension School in Minneapolis, where that man went in there and shot a bunch of
like profound and beautiful and unexpected. It wasn't like I was apnea or was strong as I couldn't breathe. So I get up in my house. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I check and I couldn't breathe at all. My throat was closed. It wasn't like I was apnea or was strong as I couldn't breathe. So I get up, I stand in the doorway of our bedroom, and I'm like, wow, I'm dying. I can feel myself starting to gray out. And then I started walking in the backyard, and then it slowly came back. Like my throat kind of opened up a little bit. I was like really weirded out. I walk back in, and my wife wakes up. She goes, what is going on? I said, I don't know. I can't breathe. I feel better now. And all of a sudden, I had this horrible pain underneath my arms, like on the side of my chest, like bad. I thought I'd been like ripped with a knife or something. It just was very intense. So I go into the bathroom, I flip on the light, and I have claw marks on both sides.
Nigga, what?
Now, could you all imagine? People, listen to me. For real. Could you imagine if Barack Obama was at an event, was hosting an event? Could you imagine if Barack Obama were hosting an event and was telling this story? Could you all imagine what they would say? Can you imagine what Megyn Kelly would say if this was Barack Obama telling this story? If this was Michael Irvin from the Dallas Cowboys telling this story? If it was Shannon Sharp telling this story? Can you imagine what they would say? Can you imagine what MAGA and the right and Trump and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly would be saying? Can you fathom it? I just want you to think about that for a few moments. If this were pretty much any black person you could name of any prominence, if Michael Jackson was telling this story, what do you think they would say? If Beyonce were telling this story, what do you think that they'd say? Think about that for just a few moments. You name any black person who is relaying this story with these details under these conditions, you tell me what they would say if you said that. If you had a TV contract, they would take it. If you had an advertising contract, they would take it. It's just, yeah, they're just like, oh, you've lost your mind. You have lost your mind. That's what they would say. Oh, they would demand evidence. They would demand proof. They would want to see the sheets. They want to test the DNA. They would want to see your ring cameras. They'd be sending the people to your house who's that paranormal. They'd be sending them. Can you imagine if Jay-Z were telling this story, people? Think about this. If Dave Chappelle or Jay-Z were telling this story, I'm talking about, and showed you the claw marks. If Jay-Z was telling you this story and showed you the claw marks, what would they say? I mean, he been drinking that lean. You know those Negroes drink lean, right? It would be that. Let me go ahead and see if we can jump over here on Zoom right quick. Let me see if I can get Huey up here on Zoom. All right, Huey, what's on your mind?
Not much, brother. Wonderful broadcast as always. Demons, really? Really?
Apparently. Brother, I'm just playing you the news. You can hear it for yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, he's giving you the whole biography of the night, blow by blow.
And I think I know how to fix it, Jason. Take him and take Megyn Kelly. They need to go to Lake Lanier at night. They need to go in the deepest waters, and then the spirits are going to cleanse everything off from them. And, you know, and when you see them drowning, you know, they're not drowning. It's just a test of faith that they are fighting. And if you see the bubbles coming up, that is the demons being exalted out of their system. And, you know, and black folks, we're just going to watch from a distance and watch the miracles of Lake Lanier and and what Jesus is doing. And we'll watch from afar and leave them out there.
I think we need to follow Megyn around to see that devil tail come out the back of that red suit. I mean, if you follow her long enough, I am very convinced that you will witness that.
Yeah. All right, brother, man. Thank you very much for the broadcast. Be one, brother.
B1, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, I mean, for real. Y'all heard it for yourselves. That's what he said, and he meant that. And he's like, I don't care if people mock me. I'm like, okay, I'm glad to hear that. But now, can you imagine any of us saying that? How many of you are parents and have children in school? Could you imagine if you said this at the PTA meeting?
Oh, please.
Could you imagine, for those of you who have children, could you imagine saying that at the PTA meeting? You'd be on the news like all them other niggas they have up on there and whatnot. Wait a minute. Hold up. Something ain't right. No, y'all didn't really do that. You would be the next one of them. You would be a meme on Instagram. You go out and you go try that with your black ass. You'll be a meme on Instagram before Wednesday. You'll be in every YouTube video. You'll be one of those meme cuts in every YouTube videos. That would be you. You'll be on some of these podcasts as an audio clip. And they were demons, and they clawed me on the back. Next caller, you know, it would be that. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and get Crystal up here on Zoom for me right quick. Let me see if we can do that. All right, Crystal, unmute yourself. Oh, this newfangled technology. There you go. All right, Crystal, what's on your mind?
I was thinking about Tucker Carlson's dream. And it was kind of funny because I was thinking like maybe he was just dealing with just some inner like guilt of himself, his conscious. And maybe like, I mean, this is his truth. I can't make fun of him because this is his story. But it is amazing that he had a dream where it was like he couldn't breathe.
How many of you are rooting for the demon? I mean, it's just like, okay, I hate to sound morbid here. I'm just like, okay, if this was a title bout between Tucker Carlson and the demon, I'm like, ooh, boy, I'm not sure who I want to win here.
Exactly.
I'm torn, y'all. I'm conflicted. Okay, if Tucker wins, he goes back online and starts attacking black folk. If the demon wins, however, I'm like, oh man, I'm not sure. This is a dilemma. Yeah. I'm not sure who to root for here.
That was hilarious. Yes, that was. I love the part you said that about Dick Cheney. It was almost like he's probably like, I'm not going without you, Tucker.
Oh man, wouldn't that be messed up? Wouldn't that be messed up if Tucker had to dream about Dick Cheney on the way there, and this old tricky Dick is like, but the demon's like, I got Cheney, I'm coming for you now.
Exactly.
Let's make it 2 for 2.
But thank you for your broadcast. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna let you go.
All right, thank you very much. Looking like Shaka Khan. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, Crystal. We appreciate that. Yeah, buddy, I'm telling you, it's just I'm not sure who to root for there. I'm like, okay, well, I know it's a demon. I mean, I know, yes, I get that part. Jason, he's a demon. Yeah, but he's going after Tucker. It's just, you sure we don't want to just hold back and see how this plays out? You know. All right. I'm just like, I'm conflicted. I'm like, okay, there's 1 minute. I'm like, okay, go demon, go. We have issues. All right. Let's see if we can get Grady. Okay, that's a Negro name when his name is Grady on here. It's 2025. It's somebody who used to listen to a bunch of blues albums, a bunch of Bobby Blue Bland albums. Okay, Grady, I don't see you there. Make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on for me here. Just so we don't have any trolling issues. Nobody else is going to see you. You're not going on YouTube. The only person who will see you is me, but just to make sure we don't have any trolling issues, just make sure you have your camera on for me. I can give you 5 more seconds to get that resolved for me. All right, there you go. All right, what's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, so I as a Christian myself, I want to attest to the veracity that people can be under spiritual influence, bad or good. Hopefully you do your best to be on the good side of it, but you can be under that kind of influence. I don't know Tucker personally. I have listened to some of his ponderings before, and it sounds like he used to be a part of the neocon, a part of the John Bolton, a part of the Dick Cheney crew, and he came out of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was dealing with something, given how he used to roll. Those people, they ain't a war that they don't like. There's no kind of bloodshed they don't like. So, but supposedly he came out of that. You know what I mean? So I do want to give him props from coming out of that. He seems like he does kind of repent from what he was about back in the day. So
okay, well, brother, Tucker Carlson has conceded on one thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a big thing, though, is it not?
He's okay, brother. It's not really, and the reason why is because the damage is already done. Everything that he was cheerleading for, that's it. It's over. It's done. Okay. Now he's going to lament that, that wasn't righteous. Okay, but you can't undo it. The Americans are occupying it. So the damage is done at this point. So of course he can afford to be pious or act righteous about it or contrite about it now, because the damage is done and it can't be reversed. Now let's take a look at what's happening now. Because the thing is, that's foreign policy. Mm-hmm. What about, show me where his pathology about that holds consistent domestically, because he has celebrated the deaths of every black person that has come along. He has cheerleaded for it. He's
celebrated. I wouldn't say celebrated.
Yes, brother. Yeah, brother, he really has.
I wouldn't say that. And in terms of how that translates domestically, it's our black people who go and fight these ridiculous wars overseas. So
right. Well, slow down.
Not cheerleading that anymore now.
Slow down, Grady. Slow down. Right. No, he's saying that from a political standpoint, but only because he's not in with those folks like he used to be. However,
which is a loss for him, money wise and influence wise. It's a whole
first of all, no, he already got his money out of Fox. He already got his money out of Swanson. So no, he hasn't taken any financial hit whatsoever.
But that's a change of revenue, though.
He's making more money. He's making more money now, or at least can, than he ever has. So
he can, correct, right? So there is a risk there.
But then again, when you've got a few $100 million at this point right here, what? Another 100 million makes a difference in your life. How? Why?
He's a millionaire. I'll give you that, but we don't know how much.
Oh right? No, actually we do. We know what his Fox News contract was, and brother, you got to go check Tucker out. Apparently you don't know. You just go look up Tucker Carlson, Fox News, Swanson Foods. That's all you need to go look up.
Yes. My bad.
Okay, yeah, brother, I know what I'm talking about. Now here's the issue, though. Yeah. Tucker Carlson has apparently you're new about, brother. You look like you just left the Turning Points USA event. What? And I'm just saying you look like the kind of fellow who just left Turning Point USA. So if you'd like to confess,
I don't know about that.
I do. If you want to confess, you got the Turning Point USA brother beard is what you got on there. So it's just. Y'all. He's looking like Young Ripper on here. So he's got the Turning Point USA. The Officer Tatum beard. He's got that going on. So Tucker,
not too big Tatum. But
Tucker Carlson has been a cheerleader for every act of malicious violence against black people that you can name. There hasn't been a single unarmed black person killed by police that he hasn't justified, that he hasn't laughed about. He just was mocking George Floyd just last week. He was just doing it just last week. He was supposed to be talking about Lindsey Graham. He takes a break from talking about Lindsey Graham to talk about George Floyd and to condemn him because he was a drug addict. Now, this in the same video, he's lamenting about white folk being drug addicts because of fentanyl coming into the country. Mm-hmm. So the white people are just victims and the American government needs to do better, but George Floyd is worthless and needs to die because he was a drug addict.
I've heard him speak on Mr. Floyd a couple of times. I never got the impression that he was happy or celebrating that he was dead. It was very much in the same vein as what you said when he talks about the whites. That was okay,
but he has always said it was justified. He has always said it was justified.
He does say it's justified.
And that if you have a problem with it, the problem is you.
Mm-hmm. He does justify that.
The whole damn world saw that video, and he came away from it saying, "Oh, this is what's great about America here." Now, at that point, you've exited the family of man. When you watch a video like that, and that's your response, at that point, you've exited the family of man. And furthermore, January 6th. Now, he'll sit up here and talk about the George Floyd uprisings. Oh, these are rioters and animals in the street. Meanwhile, the white folk who rioted at the Capitol building, he's defended every single one of them and says, oh, they weren't the problem. The FBI was the problem. Ashley Babbitt was just a peaceful protester walking down the hallway in the Capitol building. Yeah, while she was smashing in windows trying to get to the congressional chamber with 200 people behind her. He never shows the video and he never points it out. He keeps, to this very day, he still keeps saying that Ashley Babbitt was just walking down the hallway of the Capitol building as if she were just a lost tourist. When there's literally videos of her, when she got shot, it was literally a mob of people. She was buried in the mob, but she was the number one person smashed. Yes, but she was the number one person smashing in the window. And that's how she got shot. She smashed in the window and was trying to climb through it. He never plays the video. He just keeps saying those words. At this point right now, you're not dealing with a person anymore. You're dealing with a really demonic individual, pardon the expression. But the problem that he had was that the heroic Lieutenant Michael Byrd defending democracy and America and all of these Western values that Tucker claims to love, while he's got condemnation not for the police officer who was doing his job. What part of that was not his job? The same police officers he defended right up until a white woman gets shot. Now, all of a sudden, he hates the police.
Well, there is a lot of question regarding the role of the FBI on that day. I mean,
but the problem is there's also questions about the role of the FBI during the George Floyd uprisings too. Tucker Carlson,
absolutely.
Okay, but Tucker's never suggested that. Now, that's always been said by us. Tucker has always dismissed that. He never says he dismisses that. Oh no.
In terms of the you said, I'm sorry, it was you broke up there. The George Floyd or the Black Lives Matter?
Well, that is one and the same, and when they use it, it's synonymous. But the bottom line is he's never acknowledged any FBI involvement in anything in Black society, but it's particularly where George Floyd's concerned. So George Floyd, no, that's just a bunch of crazy niggas in the street. The very next year, white folk at the Capitol, oh, that's the FBI.
Mm-hmm. I have heard him question the appearance of those stacks of bricks. And the how many people are in Black Bloc? I've heard him question.
Okay, but he's never attributed any of it to the FBI. He's never done that. He's never done it.
I've heard that.
Furthermore, there's no evidence that the FBI was in. They can't show you any FBI people on January 6th. They're just, all they can just do is say, look at this guy over here. Maybe this guy over here. This guy over here talked like a Fed. They show me one piece of evidence that they've shown that there was a single FBI provocateur on January 6th that they have identified.
They introduced some evidence into Congress saying there was 270 something of them on January 6th.
Yeah, that's a lie. You know how you know it's a lie? Where are the prosecutions?
Well, I'm guessing that's forthcoming. I mean, the information just came out. They should have been prosecuted. I agree 100%.
Forthcoming.
I mean, these people are doing that to us, the American people. So.
It's been going on 5 years. Forthcoming.
100%. Yeah.
Dude, okay. This is the Epstein files. They claim
That's another one.
They claim no. This is the Epstein files where they claim they're going to do X, Y, Z, and then next thing you know, it gets memory hold, and all of a sudden we can't do nothing, brother. If there were hundreds of FBI agents, if the Republicans could actually find any, they already would have had them in front of Congress under oath. At the very least, they already would have done that.
I mean, let's not forget that the state takes care of itself. Same as the cops. When one does wrong, it's not that they kick them out the door or whatever. We have to fight and claw to get access to that particular
Okay,
officer.
that's one explanation. But then again, Occam's razor, isn't this the simplest explanation? It was a bunch of MAGA white supremacist rioters out there. Isn't that the simplest explanation?
Well, again, we both know the government has been abusing people since the beginning of time. That's just what the state does. That's how it gets its money, and that's how everybody in the government gets rich, by abusing.
Okay, so the FBI gathered all those people there that day. The FBI recruited them.
You do have your provocateurs.
They literally showed Nick Fuentes and Enrique Terrio inviting folk there that day.
No, I'm with you. Certain people were there to do
Enrique
wrong.
Terrio got convicted simply because they said, hey, he's one of the folk who invited folk there. He wasn't even there that day. There that day? He wasn't even really there that day. No, they just you helped organize it. As far as they were concerned, his conviction was based on organizing it. That was what his conviction was for. His conviction was not for anything that happened that day that he did. His conviction, don't believe me, sir. You can go take a look at the thing. That was what he was complaining about. His conviction was, you organized it. That's what Enrique Terrio got convicted for, was for, quote, organizing it.
Yeah.
Not for participation, for organization. So what I'm saying is they had no problem finding him and getting a conviction quickly, but you're telling me they can't find any of the FBI agents? The so-called FBI agents. At what point do people let go of this FBI lie? Because that's being used to try to cover up and camouflage just the simple reality. These are a bunch of white people who were expressing their white privilege.
Well, a lot of them were jailed, and some of them haven't even gotten a trial. So I don't know about the white privilege angle. Why can't it just be that it was a bunch of white folk wilding out? Why is it can't be that? Well, because we know that they had FBI agents in the crowd. So
just because they were present doesn't mean that they had any effect on anything.
We don't know.
We don't know. We do know. We do know it is. Because there were too many people there to conceal it. There were cameras everywhere. Folks were video recording everywhere, brother. There's too many people for that. So what I'm saying is a person just has to have a lot of denial and just, I don't care how much evidence you show me. I don't need to see anything. Brother, if there's too many, you can't have hundreds of FBI agents there and you can't get 5 of them. If there were 200 agents there, you telling me there are 200 agents there and we can't find 5?
I'm telling you that they know who they are. It's just a matter of the political will to bring them forward.
Okay,
because, it's not going to stop with them.
Notice the way. Now I want y'all to notice the way he said that. He didn't say, "Well, maybe they know who they are." He said, "They know who they are." Okay, if they know who they are, then there's no reason they can't bring. There's no reason they can't bring them forward. Then
again, not again. Sorry, I didn't say this before, but I do believe, as much as Trump is, a part of the system now, there definitely was an insurgency for the Trump administration to come in. So they are fighting entrenched powers. You know what I mean? You look at the indictments, you look at what do you call it, Russiagate or whatever. There was this consternation for Trump to get into office.
Brother,
there are forces that were against him.
Brother, which turning point chapter are you president of? I just want to find which turning point chapter did you take pictures with Candace Owens at?
It hasn't happened yet. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Okay. I don't think they'd like me that much.
Well, brother, you are sure working very, very hard right now. So you sure work.
I just notice things. I just see things.
Yeah, brother, I notice things too, brother. That's a Haitian hairstyle if I ever saw one right there. Which part of the Caribbean? Which part of the Caribbean you people from?
Jamaica.
There you go. All right, I was about to say it's a Haitian right there. So it's that if he says Jamaica, that means he's from down in Florida. So
somebody's listening right now. Like, I think I recognize my brother.
His folk from down there in Florida right now. So I can I can tell.
No. Some in Massachusetts. My brother loves your show. And I started listening. I just wanted to. I'm glad you let me have it some time.
Oh no, it's all good. But like I say here, y'all, this is how y'all get caught up right here, man. Y'all listen to those Christian missionaries over there in the Bahamas, and you get over here and you get to date a white woman. You're like, oh boy, she smells like Liz Taylor white pearls, and you're like, oh, this is wonderful. And next thing you know, you're hanging out at Panera Bread, and then after that, there was FBI agents on January 6th, right? They wasn't no riders, right? It becomes that, so it becomes a downhill slide, brother. So we're trying to save you here.
I hear you. That's not my story, but I'm sure that's happened somewhere before.
Okay, brother, I'm sorry. Are you married, brother?
Not yet. I do have my beautiful girlfriend right beside me, though. She's listening and smiling so hard right now.
She looks like Britney Spears. I can tell right. She looked like Britney Spears, brother. It's just, I can see her right now. Do we need to get you some legal counsel just in case, she gets up one day and she's like, Jamal, you changed since you started listening to those Black Channel people there. You used to be okay back in the... You've changed. Brittany. Her name is Brittany.
No. I was, from your.
Okay, so I'm about to say, if her name is Brittany, I've heard it all, right? I'm
don't have on makeup.
This explains everything.
No, you're not going to be on TV.
She's not on anything there, but yeah, brother.
She's too shy.
Okay, well, if you're gonna, okay, thank you. If she got all the. She got a big, broad smile, too, right there, brother. So she's either going to be your salvation or your condemnation. I don't know which way it's going to go. So
we'll see.
We'll see. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Yeah, we're gonna need old girl to save the family here, boy. She got that smile like Dawn Lewis from back in the day. So, baby, the whole bloodline is resting on you now. The fate of your bloodline is resting on you, ma'am. It's all in your hands. This fella here gonna be at the next Republican convention with Vivek Ramaswamy. What? He gonna show up at the next CPAC convention with Vivek Ramaswamy. And, as I used to listen to my man Herman Cain once said, it's gonna be like,
nigga, what?
I can see him when he walks up to the podium. As a great American, Herman Cain once said, man, just know when that happens, I'm falling out my damn seat on the floor when that one goes down. It's like, okay, I'm out. I'm done. All right, let's see if we can get Who Do You Think up here. Although, Who Do You Think? Hopefully didn't get away from their phone too long here. Who Do You Think here? So everybody who's on Zoom, make sure you have your camera, your microphone turned on for me, just so we don't have any trolling issues. Who do you think? Make sure you have that taken care of here. I'll give you 5 seconds to go ahead and get that straightened out. Make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. Who do you think? I can give you 3 more seconds to go ahead and get that straightened out. And then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. I can give you 1 more second to get that straightened out. Then we have to move on. Okay, who do you think has been abducted? Let's see if we can get, let me get Carlton. Let me go ahead and get Carlton up here. All right, Carlton, what's on your mind?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. We hear you just fine.
Okay, well, shout out to the Jamaican who just called in a little bit ago. It is interesting, though, in my community, I kind of noticed that the first thing some of these Jamaican women do when they come to my town is find the first white man they can get, like clockwork. But that's a whole nother topic. I wanted to comment on the Tucker Carlson situation. Tucker is an idiot, has always been. And with this ridiculous story, okay, if he's sleeping with his dogs like every other disgusting hoogie does, first of all, that's nasty. But your dog scratched you, and it's a demon. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So send off a sample of DNA to the lab, and we're going to find one of your stupid dogs that you sleep with because you're disgusting. And that was entertaining and interesting that Megan Ku Klux Kelly, as you call her, just goes right along with it. But I'm going to tell you this. I think all of them know better, and they know how much of an idiot he really is, but they will not speak it out loud because they don't want to embarrass themselves. And that's my comment.
Brother, I understand. I disagree. I really, really do. I got to tell you, they come from the world of I'm white and I say so. I mean, that's the world that they come from. So if Tucker is popular enough and he says it, it's true. Remember, that's what Donald Trump has done. If Trump says it, it's true.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Charlie Kirk, if he says it, it's true. So whoever is perceived to be the alpha in the room, the most popular, the most influential, whatever they say, that's reality.
Automatically true.
That's the rules they live by. So if Tucker said it, there it is. Now, Ben Shapiro, if he's got any sense, he'll be having a field day about this, although I doubt it. But
Probably not.
It's all I'm saying is that if you and me said this in the same room, they'd be like, get these crazy niggas out of here. But
that's right.
In this environment, though, brother, no, this is legal currency. This is legal tender over there. It gets given full faith and credit. It came from Tucker. So they agree with everything else that he said. So when he brings this one in here, you got to roll with it.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, between his wife and the dogs, it's very clear and obvious where that came from. But nobody's going to say anything.
No, of course not.
They're all going to line up for an autograph. Tucker, I'll be saying prayers for you, Tucker. And then they take some pictures with him. Because I'm just telling you right now, if a fella told me he was attacked by demons, I'm like, I don't really take no pictures with you. It's just,
no.
They might not be done with you yet. So I don't want them to get, confused. Be like, oh, you roll with Tucker. I'm coming to see you tonight. Whoa. I don't even really know this dude like that. I'll let you have the last word.
One serious question I want you to elaborate on. I have a problem with the word white supremacy because to me, just in my mind, there seems to be a presupposition of some truth to that term when I hear it, and it rubs me the wrong way, where I would rather call them idiots who think that they're better for some unknown reason when there is absolutely no truth to it, because I feel that I will outdo and best any white supremacist on planet Earth, because that's the way I was raised, because my father taught me that we are great and there's nothing that we cannot accomplish and figure out. And so with our rich Black history, with all of the engineers, with all of the entrepreneurs, and those folks in history have made me what I am, I cannot be stopped. That's in my mind. So what are your thoughts about that? Does saying the term white supremacy give them some presupposed credit for a shred of it being true?
Well, every once in a while, a call like this comes in. So for the people who haven't heard me give this explanation before, it's probably been a while since I did this. But first of all, white supremacy is not describing a biological fact. It is describing a socio-political reality.
Okay.
It would be just like if you and I said we were going to go to war with the U.S. government right now. They would have air superiority. You don't have a Black Hawk helicopter. I don't have a Chinook. So it doesn't matter our value as human beings. They've got air superiority.
That is true.
They have mechanized superiority. They got artillery superiority.
Yes, this is true.
We are not questioning a biological fact. This is a socio-political reality.
Okay.
So
I can accept
you live
that, yes.
in a system of white supremacy. So
Correct.
This is not about meritocracy. This is not about what you are capable of. This is about what they have already established.
Okay.
I do. So when you do talk about this,
I have a trigger.
Okay. Well, as Black people, we can talk all we want to about, what we're capable of and what we can do. But you live in a system where they can say what goes and what doesn't, whether it's, quote, accurate or not, whether it's correct or not. If they say, because your reality is only as valid as what you can enforce. Right. It's only as valid as what is honored. So you can be the smartest person in the room, as you know, but if in this system they decide if it gets honored or not, so you just being smart, you just being capable, that's not enough. That just isn't. That gets dismissed all the time. So it's not about a biological fact. It's about a socio-political reality. And that's what we're working for, is to change that reality. But you can't change your reality if you will not admit that's where you actually are first. Because now we're just, being in denial. They have a whole court system. They decide what guilty and innocent is. If they say you guilty, you gone.
Yes.
No matter what the evidence says, no matter what the DNA says. Right. If you had the ability to stop them, then you could say there's no white supremacy. If you could stop, I'm talking about at every turn, not just a fluke here or there. If you could stop them as a course of regular, typical business every day, then you could say there's not white supremacy. But that would just be what you call an exception. So until we get there, you are in a system of white supremacy. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me see if I can get Brother Elijah up here right quick. All right, let me get Brother Elijah up here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Brother Elijah? Okay, brother. Okay, you're on the A train there or something. I'm barely hearing you. Okay, Brother Elijah, this is going to be a very difficult call here because your audio is going in and out. So you're underground right now, brother. Okay, Elijah, I'll give you 30 seconds here. Say what you got to say real quick because your audio is going in and out and you're underground.
Can you hear me now, big brother?
Yeah, go ahead and say it real quick, brother. I can give you about 10, 15 seconds because your audio is going in and out.
All right. I'm sorry. Using cheap ass Amtrak Wi-Fi, brother. This broadcast with Tucker the Sucker, Devil Carlson. I just have one question. I'm gonna land my plane with this one. I think he's having all these dreams and all these hallucinations because after what the world witnessed, what happened to Charlie Kirk, I'm asking, do you think that he believes his time is up for all of his devilishment? And I'm going to land my plane with that question.
Of course, that enters the equation. A lot of them have been thinking about their lives and the lives they've lived. And, it could be over any minute and what's going to happen next. So, yeah, that's giving them an opportunity to start reflecting on that kind of thing. And no, I'm not surprised that he's had his experience has proven to be very negative. So that's his psyche is letting him know, brother. This is basic Freud. This is basic Nietzsche. People's psyche lets them know who they really are. You can't lie to yourself. You know if this is the kind of person you are. You know if you're the kind of person that Jesus would be like, hey, who let him in? You know if that's who you are. You know it. You can tell people whatever you want to, but you know if you're not righteous. You know that. Everyone knows if they don't really make the cut. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, look, y'all, everybody knows that they don't make the cut. You know full well if you haven't taken care of your kids, if you had a family on the other side of town and you don't take care of your kids, dude, you know full well that's why so many fellas out here, they just live as total degenerates. I gotta go say this right quick. The reason why so many guys out here live as total degenerates is because they know. They know. It's like, dude, you ain't been living right. You are not going to be able to sit in front of Jesus and be like, I was a stand-up dude. Oh, look how great I did. You didn't take care of your kids. You was in and out of jail. You made a bunch of trouble. You know full well if you're not the kind of person that the fellows at the pearly gates like, wait a minute, you ain't got a card. You know the life you've been living. You know it. You know it. So that's why a lot of these fellas just let it all hang out. I mean, they get as many kids as they can because like, man, I'm on the road to hell anyway. I'm on the road to hell. I got too many strikes against me. I done did too much. Ain't no coming back. So it's, just might as well let it all hang out. You know if that's the life you've lived. You know if you've been a white supremacist your whole life. You know it's like, yeah, I rep white supremacy, but this is not righteous. You know if that's you. You know if that's you. That's why that happens. Let's go ahead and see if we can get rolling up here on Zoom for me here right quick. Let me see if I can get them up here. All right, let's see if we can get rolling up here right quick. I can give you a few more seconds, and then we're going to have to go ahead and move on here, Roland. Make sure you have your camera microphone turned on for me. There you go. All right, Roland, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Brother Jason? Thank you for letting me up this weekend. As always, as usual, outstanding broadcast. There's just a couple things I wanted to comment on. First of all, that one brother that called up from Florida, that's not indicative of all the city. All right, that's the one. All right, he's
okay, brother. He's got the Haitian beard here, brother. I'm not sure you're digitizing on us, so if you're not using Wi-Fi, that might be an issue. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to put you back in the room. You might want to change where you're sitting at or something. I'm not sure why I started digitizing. I'll give you a few moments and I'll come back to you. Let me see if I can get Jay up here for me here right quick. Let me see if I can get Jay up here for me and see if we can get them on. Okay, Jay is hanging out somewhere here. All right, Jay, what's on your mind?
How you doing, brother? I just want to give you your flowers, man. I appreciate what you're doing, man. You really doing the work. A couple callers ago, the brother, he was trying to defend this and defend that, and I want to give you your flowers, man. You're so patient. You're so patient, man. That's why you're the authority. That Jason let them talk. Jason let them talk. You've been letting them talk for months and months and months, a couple years now, so that can go out the window. Jason, you've been letting them talk.
Not true, brother. Not true. Let me explain to you why. You've been listening for years, but do you understand? See, this is what Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA were invested in the last decade. Every year, there's another high schooler leaving high school. There's another college student coming into college. And they are encountering this for the first time. So it would be different. We talk about generations of people. It would be different if the whole generation showed up in one day or 1 year, but they don't. So every year, every month, somebody who's never heard any of this before is being exposed to it. Turning Point USA is this constant campaign, this constant crusade. They keep going to these schools and then keep going back and going back and going back. They keep coming back around to make sure that they've indoctrinated every single class. They leave no stone unturned. So you have to understand that every time I broadcast, there's somebody new listening. These talking points, we have to keep it on rotation of debunking the talking points because there's always somebody new who heard Candace Owens first. I mean, remember, she's like one of the number one podcasters in the world now. I mean, she shot to the top. So her audience is bigger than it's ever been, which means that the information and disinformation is more broadly disseminated than it's ever been, which means we have to start recycling the refutation more frequently than we've ever done. We cannot just assume, oh, don't worry, they either heard it or they'll get it later. We can't do that. So as annoying as it might be for some of you longtime folks, there's a reason why I have to do that. There's somebody else will hear this, and if I don't refute it, then they may assume it's correct. So we just have to have a constant mantra on repeat because this is what the other side's doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I go back to, man, you're very patient in what you're doing, man. That patience is extraordinary, man. It's a gift from God, man. And that the guy a couple calls ago when he was saying this and that, the patience that you have, bro, like you said, some of the longtime listeners, we're just like next, or whatever. But you showed that amazing patience, man, and it's admirable. And the thing, he was like, oh, there was 100, 200 FBI agents there. But then you say you can't find 5. There's a saying, 2 men can keep a secret if 1 man is dead. So if 2 people can't keep a secret, if there are hundreds of FBI agents there, they can find a couple that's going to say something.
Very good. If 2 men can't keep a secret, how the hell are 200 keeping one?
Exactly. To me, it just sounds ridiculous. But like you said, there's some people that are young and they just don't understand these things. But yeah, that was saying that patience comes in. Like, and then when he was talking to nothing, like you said, man, these people are getting bought off cheap. Nobody even bought him off. He's volunteering to crash out for his own destruction. It's just well, I mean, amazing.
Look, right now the airways have been saturated. Fox News, when it came to cable, was not about being correct. It was about Rupert Murdoch having enough money to saturate the airways with this message. And it was the beginning of a decades-long investment. Now he's in his 90s. The investment came to fruition within the first decade. But you have to be willing to sit there and keep refreshing it every day for year after year. And eventually, next thing you know, you saturated the zone. So Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Turning Point, you name it, this right-wing propaganda skewed fictional worldview has saturated the zone. And that's the reality that we're in. They've saturated everything. There's nowhere you can go where you don't run into it. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. It's everywhere you go. And that was the plan. So the reason we're doing what we're doing is not for folk who call me. It's for the people who are listening who don't call. Those are the ones that I'm doing this for because they're listening. And if we don't refute it, they'll go with that. Now, to the other thing you were saying there, these people have saturated their worldview everywhere you go. So what this also means is that people are far more likely to run into that first. They are 100 times more likely to run into Tucker Carlson and his nonsense than they are me. 100 times more likely. So when you consider that, we have to assume that we're going to have to be deprogramming people when we meet them. We have to assume that. We just have to, because that's what the mathematics say.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. Like, I do understand we have to deprogram people, but like on the same level, like you could be programmed, but when you live a real world and your programming is not working, when do people just say, maybe they don't know what to turn to, they don't know what's, but reality, like, okay, none of this is working. I've been saturated with this, I believe, but it's not working. When do they just say?
Well, remember they've covered that too. Remember the Tucker Carlsons, the Dd'Souzas. What do they tell you? You're not working hard enough. You're not doing enough. Remember? They're going to tell you that that's the reason. That's not white supremacy. It doesn't matter if all the teachers were white or whatever, the school was white and you're targeted. You weren't targeted. There's no racism. So everything they're going to tell you is that it's your fault and you need to stop being a victim. But if I was held down and brutalized, I am a victim. So just understand they've had decades now to listen to what we've had to say. And these are the rationales, or at least the responses that they put on auto response. So when you say this, they're going to tell you that, oh, the reason is it's not because of white supremacy. It's because you're just weak. You haven't tried hard enough. You're not applying yourself. And even if what you're saying is true, you just need to work harder. Even if all those things you said are true, you just need to work harder. Think about it right now. That's why I'm starting out the program reminding people about Dd'Souza and Vivek Ramaswamy and Kash Patel. I just did it last week. They're getting their asses handed to them by their so-called MAGA friends, and yet they're sitting there quietly. Now, you and I both understand what the deal is. Vivek is going to play nice if he gets elected. If Vivek Ramaswamy does not get elected, he's going to start talking more like Dinesh is currently talking. So as long as they were getting their preferential treatment, there wasn't no racism and white supremacy. Now that they're getting the beats, all of a sudden there's racism and white supremacy. So we know the deal. If he doesn't get what he wants, then he'll start telling the truth. So that's the game they're playing.
That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, Jason, like, man, it's just amazing how I know outside of all this, you're a man, you're doing your thing for yourself and you're making things happen. But not to be sidetracked, but how do you find the energy and time to do all of this? I know you're doing it out of the love for your people, but man, how do you do that, Jason? How?
I mean, when I first started, it wasn't nearly as easy. When I first started, but the thing was, I just wanted to find a few like-minded people somewhere, and what I found was there were a lot more of them than we are giving people credit for having. What they didn't have was a central place where they could congregate and get away from the nonsense. The only thing that was holding it back was there somebody who would just stick around long enough to have a lighthouse big enough that everybody would be able to find. And just really, it was just one of those things where, I was just willing to do it. I just didn't have anything else. I didn't have anything else that mattered to me as much.
I could tell like the way you moving, it has to be out of straight love. And the thing about this, like when I was coming up, I had it, but you said you found people. I never found that until I found you.
That was my motivation. I started the Black Channel because I wanted to create a repository of reliable information that I wished had been there when I was your age. That was the whole reason I started doing this going on 2 decades ago. That's what I was looking for then. And I've just tried to stay persistent at it. And quite frankly, I don't like anywhere else as much. So it would be different. Like Candace Owens can leave Black society and be thrilled to be somewhere else. I have never been more empowered and content and energized than where I am right here. So I never found my thrills on the other side of the tracks. Mine is right here.
I mean, at this point, I know this is giving you energy because you're seeing the fruits of your labor. You say you've been doing it for almost 2 decades now. And you always say, I've been beating the drum for a decade. I've been beating the drum for 5 years. And right now, you're there, right? So let me ask you this question, right? And maybe this is off topic, but like with us Black people, we always try to put the movement on one person. So right now, the movement is kind of on you. Do you have a fear if, God forbid, something happens, that the movement will stop stop, or do you have faith that the movement will keep going?
No, it will keep going with or without me. I didn't start it. I'm not the beginning of it. I will not be the end of it. Would it certainly slow us down? Well, yeah. But by the same token, we've faced that before too. So yes, we should not put everything on one person, any person. I just do my part. I don't really feel like it's on me like that, but I just do the best I can. And the only thing I try to do is be an inspiration to everybody else to do the best that they can. They don't have to do the same as me, as much as me. There are folk out there who do more than me, and that's great. But no, I've never felt that. I didn't start this. I'm not the beginning of it. If I disappeared tomorrow, I will not be the end of it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me see if we can go back and try Roland here again. Let me see if we can try him. Hopefully he's found a better corner of the house to be in, or whatever the case may be. Okay, Roland, take 2. All right, what's on your mind?
Thank you again for letting me up again. Hopefully I'm not digitizing this time. Again, I just want to clarify. Hopefully that one of those callers before, or a few callers before, is not indicative of all of us Floridians. It does take a, not gonna say an FBA mindset, but generally we have that foot forward when it comes to addressing white supremacy. But on the subject of Tucker Carlson, that dude is a demon himself. I mean, if you listen to all of the vile venom that he spewed against Black people, I'm talking about time after time, comment after comment, broadcast after broadcast. He literally made a living on anti-Black racism, literally, and being the propagandist for building the mindset and maintaining the mindset of white supremacy. Because now you got like you did a broadcast before talking about are the young becoming racist. Now this is part of the curriculum for white supremacy, because it in itself is a religion. It's a dogma. They have whole doctrine dedicated to white supremacy. So the nerve of this person to think that, or to make a hoax of a demon attacking him, when he himself is a demon. He is the demon.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, brother, it's not a hoax. I do not believe that Russia, I don't believe that Tucker is lying. I don't know if he was tweaking or not. I'm just saying that would explain a lot. I don't know if he was tweaking or not, but no, he's being sincere. He does believe that clearly he thinks this event happened.
Right.
But it's very obvious, that something might have happened. We can't even prove anything did happen. What we do know is that he claims it occurred. And from what I've seen, I think he thinks something occurred. He believes it. But what actually happened, it's like, I think that, I think this is an outgrowth of something else. I think that once these people start getting attention, they want more of it. Once they have your attention, they want more of it. And also, I mean, brother, what makes you seem more special than that? Hey, I got attacked. I got pressed by demons. Your ops are across the street. My ops are in hell. They got wings. I mean, think about that for a few moments. Tell me something. Name something you could think of that was more aggrandizing than that. Think about that for just a few moments, bro. I'm beefing with the devil. I mean literally. And there are no witnesses, although he did claim there were witnesses. He claimed that it was the dogs. No, I'm serious. He literally said there were 4 witnesses, the dogs. I'm like, okay, well, in any case, so when you think about that for a few moments, this can be perceived as an exercise in self-importance.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now,
the epitome of
free melanated woman in the chat room said the ancestors are tormenting them.
Coming to grab him.
Okay, I say he thought it was the demons. It's like, wait a minute now, late Lanier, the ancestors might have paid you a visit. And he's like, oh, they were demons. So Tucker, come on now. Come on.
I mean, definitely probably right on that tweaking part. I mean, but high on his own self-aggrandizement. I mean, it's just insane the level that they'll go to, like you said, for the attention. But I mean, dude, that's what I'm saying. If a demon's coming to get you, if like say this is not a hoax, it's only because of what you represent. I mean, you open the door for that type of stuff.
But by the same token, these are the same people who tell you that Trump is touched by God. These are the same people who will tell you that. So what I'm saying is that if you believe that Trump was touched by God, if Charlie Kirk had lived through that, what happened to him, they'd be saying the same thing. So do you think that Tucker Carlson doesn't see himself the same way? I'm touched by God. I'm the anointed. I am favored by God. Okay, well, this incident, wouldn't this be the flip side of confirmation of that? Absolutely. I'm touched by God, and even the demons want to mess with me.
Yeah, like, dude, no, you're not worth that much. Like that guy's, yeah, and the nerve of the people, or the gall of those who inflate him and gave him the pedestal and the platform to speak and make himself feel that more important. I mean, like, literally, all of these mouthpieces for anti-white supremacy are like literally funded. I mean, some of them come from money, but a lot of them, even if they come from money, they're funded, they're built up. So given this ridiculous of a person that much more of a platform is just absurd in itself.
Well, I mean, look, these people, they love folk with star power or whatever, and this has been something throughout history, whether it's Howard Hughes. Yes, Tucker, I'm comparing you to Howard Hughes. I mean, you can call it eccentric, okay? But the bottom line is, when people get into a position of leadership, things kind of become cultish for a lot of them, especially when they're trying to have political movements. There's a lot of temptation to make things cultish. So whatever the quote leader says, that is the reality. That's what these guys learn. If I believe this, even if everyone else in this room is predisposed not to believe it, if I say I believe it, that suddenly shifts the Overton window. That suddenly shifts the tone. And all of a sudden, I don't have to convince them it's real. Remember that. Major key tactic of psychology. You don't have to convince people that something is real. The most effective thing is, can you introduce doubt? Just can you get them to no longer be 100% certain? I don't have to make you 0% uncertain. I just have to make you 90% certain. If I can take you from being 100% certain to 90% certain, that 10% will be poisonous. That 10% will be absolutely acidic. So if he's the biggest guy in the room, and if he's saying that this is his value and that this is how he's seen and this is what's going on, by definition, the people who quote follow, they're going to be much more likely to be just agreeable. They don't have to sit there and say they even believe it. They're agreeable. Well, Jason, what's agreeable? They're not mocking him. They're not mocking him. Over here, we mocking him. Them, they're not doing that. So that would be really enough for him. These guys are used to being in control. They're used to being in control, and that literally means what his reality is your reality. And Donald Trump is, have you ever seen a better example of that? Whatever he says the facts are, those are the facts. No matter how crazy, no matter how out of line. And here's the other problem with it. Even if you could convince Tucker Carlson that that event did not occur, just like with Donald Trump, has Donald Trump ever admitted that he was wrong, even when confronted with incontrovertible evidence that something that he said or claimed was absolutely untrue and did not happen? Has he ever admitted he was wrong?
No.
But do you know why? The reason why is because he has authority, and admitting he was wrong would be equivalent to relinquishing that authority. So he's not refusing to say he's wrong simply because he's stubborn. He's refusing to say he's wrong because, well, if I say it, it's the law. That's the law. So I may not always be right, but I'm always in charge. And this is the pathology the rest of them have. Even if you could show incontrovertible evidence that Tucker, your dogs you need to get some of them dogs out of their bed and clip their nails. You need to go take them down to the grooming place so you can go clip their nails, brother. That's what was happening to you. It wasn't Beelzebub. It was Benji over here. That's what was going on. Tucker would never tell you that happened.
Right.
He would never say that because he's in authority. He's in charge. And, well, I may not always be right, but I'm always the boss.
Oh, yeah.
And so if I say it happened, and even if you have proof it didn't happen, if I said it, it's right. And even if you have proof that I'm incorrect, I'm still right. But I'm still right does not mean I'm correct. I'm still right means I'm still your boss.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you understand it from that perspective, oh, okay. Well, now it doesn't matter what happened now, does it? It literally now doesn't matter what occurred. This is his story. He's sticking with it, and there's power to be had either which way. But it does. But for those of us who are not part of their little delusional circle, it does give us some insight into how far out there he is. Mark my words, we haven't heard the last of an ostentatious story like this. This will not be the last type of incident like this we're going to hear about. If he doesn't get laughed and mocked out of society for this, this will not be the last one. We will hear, not only will we hear this, we're going to hear something more outrageous. I'm expecting Tucker to talk about aliens any day now.
What? Well,
yeah, I know he's been flaunting with that before. I know he's been flirting with it before. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm expecting him to go beyond the asking question stage. That eventually he's going to go to the there definitely are.
Well, it does kind of tie into the whole marriage between white supremacists and those Christian evangelists with those outrageous stories. Some of those like absurd, So I mean, it's now that you think of it, and now that we're like discussing this like in an open forum, it doesn't sound so far-fetched that he would say something so asinine.
Oh, it tracks. It definitely tracks. But what are you really saying? What you're really saying by doing all this stuff, Tucker, angels, demons, aliens, bruh, it's the X-Files up in here. What are you really saying? I'm special. I'm not like the rest of you. I'm extraordinary. Extraordinary things happen to me. So you all are right to revere me and make me number one on YouTube or whatever. Special things happen to me. Extraordinary things happen to me. I see and experience extraordinary stuff. I'm not like the rest of you. Now, we've seen how many multitudes of times have we seen this throughout history? That's not even special anymore. That's not even special.
Yeah.
For every person who ascends to be a head of state with that mindset, brother, we see pimp preachers, dudes on street corners and stuff who never got anywheres. The fellas we have to live with, those are the few who made it to the top. How many millions didn't that we step over every day? It's like, I'm so glad this nigga over here ain't got no power. Yeah, and then you look in the White House, oh my goodness, one made it.
And then the stuff that comes out of his mouth is just...
He's not the only one. I mean, most of your so-called elected leaders have a similar type of mindset to them. The world is not led by the smartest people. The world is led by the most ambitious. Your world is not led by the smartest, most capable people. It's led by the most ambitious and boorish people. Because that's who they move other folk out the way. You talking about your math and how great your math is. He's like, I wonder how good your math will be when I finish punching you in the head. Okay, well, you can't vote in the ballot box if I bust you upside the head now, can you? Okay, well, 2 + 2 that. That's the world you live in. Donald Trump is a barbarian. That was it. He did not then and does not now give a damn what the math is. So people are under a misnomer. Your world is not run by the best and brightest people. Hopefully your local hospital is, although I got doubts about that. But as far as your political establishment, oh, no. That one's led by the most ambitious. Elon Musk is far from the smartest person in the room. Autistic or not, he's the most ambitious.
Yeah.
The fellow over there with Palantir, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos with that crazy ass laugh. Dick Cheney. Yeah, they weren't the smartest people, but they were the most ambitious and they were the most boorish. Now that they were. And the truth of the matter is that's who's been the one who decides where mankind goes throughout history. In America, China, Japan, Germany, Russia, you name it. There have been very few exceptions. On our end of things, we kind of be the exception to that. For the rest of these folk, that's the rule. And not just the rule in the 20th century. That's been the rule for the last 100,000 years. Starting out the Caucasus Mountains, hey, whoever got the biggest club runs the ice mountain.
Mm-hmm. But us as black people getting to understand that, that barbarism, and trying to not appeal to them, knowing that they're barbarians and knowing that they're going to try to be calculated with their ambition. How come there's not like a critical mass of us that come together and say, hey, we need to be just as ambitious and just as backdooring and just as conniving,
because most human beings are driven by primal urges, the urge for pleasure and the avoidance of pain. When dudes take over, the first thing they do is there are mechanisms to make your life unpleasant. And that is, most people, it doesn't take much to make them unpleasant. It doesn't take very much to make them so unpleasant that they ain't going to give you no trouble. So they begin shrinking their expectations of what they should have out of life to match whatever level of greed the people over them are expressing. Sometimes it's very severe. In America, sometimes it's very more subtle. These guys have always understood that once you take over, there need to be mechanisms that make people uncomfortable for bucking back against you. Because remember, Donald Trump wrote 2 books, Life at the Top and Surviving at the Top. So first you got to get to the top, and then you have to stay there. And the second one is much harder than the first. Right. Because you've seen a whole bunch of NFL teams and NBA teams get a championship. It looks like everybody gets one. How many of them get to get back to back?
Not many.
And how many of them get 3-peats? You can probably name that on one hand. So that's been the arc of history. If you make people uncomfortable in some way, so everything doesn't have to be, Nazi Germans kicking in doors. Taxation isn't enough for some people. There's hard power, and then there's hard force, and then there's soft force. But the real thing is, these are the guys willing to use force. You and me would probably be more averse to that. It's like, okay, I'm not trying to mess with folk like that. Okay, but then again, you're not trying to dominate them either. So if you're going to dominate people, you have to do it one of 2 ways. We're going to use hard force, or we're going to use soft force. You prefer to use soft force because using hard force on people, that tends to make people start galvanized against you in groups.
It runs out.
Once you start becoming a physical threat to people, they have to make a decision to either die or revolt. And if they feel like, okay, I'm going to die either way, I might as well die with my boots on. Now when you start becoming a threat to people's survival, because survival is a biological instinct. So a lot of the people have been smart enough not to try to challenge that one, because if you become a existential threat to the population may decide that we're going to die anyway, but at least I have a chance of living if I come after you and stop you. So most of them are smart enough to stop before you get to that point. Also, they do give you something. I mean, like, you've got cell phones, you got tennis shoes. Now, of course, you acknowledge you got fast food. So if we can keep you distracted with these other things and keep you well enough fed that you won't cause any trouble, then you'll stay on the hamster wheel, and we can keep running this thing and keep gangstering how we gangstering.
What did the Romans say? They said, let them eat bread, or let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. The saying is that all wars start when people's bellies get empty. So you want to stop that from occurring if you want to prevent physical threats. But the bottom line is, the few have always lorded over the many. That's the way it's always been. The reason for that is that hopefully the few who are leading you are the most skilled. Maybe he's the best hunter, the best warrior, the best guide, the best navigator, the best scientist. Hopefully that's what you have. And throughout history, sometimes the people who were the best hunters, gatherers, warriors were also the most ambitious. Well, hopefully you have that if he's ambitious on behalf of the people. Okay, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But when you start getting into capitalism unfortunately is susceptible to this kind of gangstering between groups. And then they can fleece everybody else for the wealth and accumulate for themselves at everybody else's expense. But what they learned is that we can keep the masses occupied. Hopefully, they will not go into open rebellion. Now, even in our system, though, that occasionally has happened. Now, we've been at the vanguard of that, but in white society, they're particularly sensitive to losing any of their privileges. So the most privileged people in society, what you found out is that, by the way, once they have their privileges, they don't want to let them go. Once they have them, they want to keep them. So it's become a double-edged sword. You prop them up to keep us subjugated because we were the resource that built your wealth. And now the folks you propped up now you want to take their privileges, and they don't want to relinquish them. We've been here before with the American Revolution, the Magna Carta, the Russian Revolution, the French Revolution. You get the idea. So throughout history, the few have always depended on the inertia of the masses. Okay, how much are y'all gonna let us get away with? And it would be different if they had a regulated amount and just stayed there, but they never do. When they start taking from you, they incrementally just start increasing how much they take. And they start saying, well, can I take some more? Can I take some more? Can I take some more? Elon Musk now wants to make $1 trillion. It's not enough for him to have 300 billion. Now he wants $1 trillion. He wants to be the world's first trillionaire. How much is damn me enough? And what y'all need to understand is for the few, once they start taking, it's never enough. They always tell themselves it'll be enough. But then he gets into a damn, spitting contest with Jeff Bezos. Now all of a sudden it's not enough. Here comes Alex Karp. Here comes Larry Ellison. It's never enough. And because it's never enough, these are parasites sucking the blood out of you. They told you 10 years ago that, okay, I just need a gallon of blood and I'll be good. I'll get off your back. Now he's taking 3 gallons out of you. So it's 10 years later and you're like, damn, when you gonna get done doing that? And he's like, well, bro, I promise, 1 more gallon, I swear, I'm gonna be through, just 1 more. And that's the way it always happens, always. So
give an inch, take a mile.
In Game of Thrones, the Sparrow said it best when he was talking to Olenna Tyrell. He said, you are the few, we are the many. And when the many stop fearing the few, and that's really the way it's always been. And that's the way it will always be. Because most people don't run their lives. I don't want to say that as an elitist negative, but most people look for hierarchy. That's a part of human nature, is to look for hierarchy. Obviously, you would want to, most people doubt themselves. So that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. Most people, no matter how qualified, they doubt themselves. Dumb people don't know that they don't know. So therefore, they don't doubt themselves as much as smarter people do. That's what Dunning-Kruger found out. Dumb people don't know how stupid they are. And because of that, they think they're smarter than they are. So they don't doubt themselves. Meanwhile, smart people are so smart that they doubt themselves. So even though you got smart because you question things, now you're questioning yourself even about what you know. Well, the dumb person, while you're standing there questioning yourself, the dumb person walked by you and pulled the lever while you're standing still. And the person who walks up and takes action will beat the person who stands there contemplating it for days, every day of the year. Even if what they do is wrong, even if the person takes initiative and gets it wrong, the person who moves first and gets it wrong will beat the person who waits a year to get it right. They will win every time. So that's just physics and reality. Most people are willing to sit back and let a smarter person run things and do it because most people are afraid of screwing up. And understandably, because there's consequences to messing up. Okay, but in the process, you've now left yourself open to who? You're thinking the person walking up, I'll do this for you. Well, you're assuming that, well, he stepped up, so I guess he's the smartest. I mean, look how confident he's acting. You're assuming he's the smartest. I'm here to tell you, he probably isn't. He's just the most, he saw you were waiting. There was power to be taken, and he's the most ambitious. Because what you just gave him was not permission. You just gave him control. If you won't do it and you're going to let him do it for you, you're not giving him permission. You're giving him control. He's going to call the shots. And you are just hoping that when he finishes, quote unquote, doing this for you, that he will hand it back over to you. Think about this for your daughters or your nieces. Next time her car breaks down on the side of the road or a store somewhere. Okay, AAA may come. Some random guy may come. Hey, you having car trouble. Hey, I can fix that for you. She's assuming that at the end of whatever he does, he's going to let her leave with the car. She never thinks for a second that at the end of him fixing your car, he's going to drive off with it. Well, after all, I fixed your car. But yeah, but it's my car. Yeah, but I fixed it. So really, it's mine now. When you think about it, I mean, you wouldn't have a car if it weren't for me. So really, I fixed it. So it's really my car now. I have the right of possession now. It's my car. You never think that could happen. But that is what happens when you step back and let other people do things for you. You're not thinking that will occur. But in reality, that actually occurs far more often. So This is when you're dealing with a world of power dynamics, which is what we're in. You're in a world of power dynamics, and the political class, this is what they've always taught. From Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power to Machiavelli's The Prince, this is what they teach. And what they teach, read Machiavelli's The Prince. It's not a science book. I'm so glad you brought this up. Machiavelli's The Prince. How many of you read Machiavelli's The Prince? If you read Machiavelli's The Prince, give me the stack of books emoji in the chat room. If you have read Machiavelli's The Prince, give me the stack of books emoji in the chat room. If you've read Machiavelli's The Prince. Brother, The Prince is not a science book. It's not a math book. Do you understand that? This was Machiavelli when he was in exile and he had to give rules about how you're going to rule a kingdom. Brother, he didn't sit there and say, okay, now here's a short course in trigonometry. Here's algebra. Here's how this works. Okay, here's biology and chemistry. That wasn't in there anywhere. So let me get this straight. When it comes to ruling a nation, ruling a kingdom, ruling a society, the people who teach folk how to do that, nowhere in there does it mention math, science, reading, mastery of chemistry, biology. It doesn't say that in there anywhere. It is all about power dynamics. Somebody in the chat room says psychology. But it's about that. It's not about the sciences. It's not about math and reading. Now, isn't that interesting? You're taught about math. You're taught that math and reading will help you run the world. And in reality, you're going to be dominated by the guy who has the psychology and the proper teaching of power dynamics, and you'll be working for him, which is what they're taught. And you don't have to learn all that there. All you have to do is dominate Roland over here, and he'll learn all that stuff, and he'll be serving us because he'll have to. And
I use my brain to use your brain.
Yeah, and that's what it'll be. So I want you all to understand, when you're looking at those things, those are not science books. The books that tell you how to dominate other people and dominate societies and run them, by the way, there's not a lick of science or arithmetic in there anywhere. Not one equation in there anywhere. Now, why do you think that is? How
it's not important in the power dynamic.
They're telling you that you can run the world and it doesn't take a lick of math.
Nope.
So they got all the rest of us out here working to be the biggest math students we can be. And the folk who run things, take a look at Elon Musk. Would you ever let him balance your checkbook? Donald Trump, would you ever let him balance yours? Do you think he could figure it out? Do you think he could read it? Okay, George W. Bush. We can go down the list, brother. And their families taught them, yeah, you need to be able to count, certainly, but counting isn't going to give you power. That's what they learned. Yeah, you need to be able to count. The person that knows how to count. Yeah, you need to be able to count, but don't think that counting is going to give you power. Don't deceive yourself into thinking that that's what the rest of us are taught, that learning how to count well will give us power. And the folks who actually run the world realize that's not the way that works. But they want you and me to stick to it. Oh yeah, y'all keep counting over there, y'all. Yeah, believe whatever you want to believe over there. Yeah, because as long as you're doing that or on your cell phone or looking at your Nikes or playing your Xbox, guess what you're not doing? You're not challenging us. When you start changing that vocabulary and talking that other way, then you got their attention. And then they might respond to you badly. It's like, you've taken an interest in the kind of stuff we do. Well, the only reason you want to do that is if you want to challenge us. We're going to take a break from all this power stuff over here to come after you for a little bit because you're going to be trouble. So there's what that happens. But you've never been in a situation in life where your ability to count got you in trouble. No. That didn't do it. Your ability to understand power, now you're in trouble. Now you're likely to get killed. Yeah. Dr. King, you was all right giving sermons. Now you talking about power? Okay. Pew, pew.
Exactly. That's what got him killed.
Malcolm X, you're a smart dude and everything. You were great with them history books. Oh, you want to challenge the establishment? Pew, pew. Exactly. Oh, Huey Newton? Pew, pew. All these very well-read men. Fred Hampton? Oh, pew, pew for you too. Okay, now.
Slaves, when they learn how to read, that's why they try to hide the books.
You were doing all right in that classroom, but now you talking about what we do? Oh, nation building? Oh, pew, 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 pew. Oh, no. So it must be that important because that's what they're protecting. It must be that important. But no, your world is not ruled by the best and brightest. It's ruled by the most ambitious. That doesn't mean that the most ambitious are always blithering idiots. That's not what that means. What I'm saying, though, is that they're not the guys with he is not the smartest person in the damn world. He isn't. Vladimir Putin is crafty. He's not the smartest guy in Russia. I know that for a fact. Xi Jinping is not the smartest dude in China. He's no dummy. He's not the smartest dude in China. He's not. No disrespect if you listen right now, Xi. Don't clip me, but he's not the smartest dude in China. It never is. But he doesn't have to be. He needs to be the most organized and the most ambitious. Because that's what they're really competing for. Who's the most ambitious? Who's the most organized? And you're going to be the one running things. And you will provide peace and prosperity for the little big brain dude over there who can count well.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the way that happens. And let's just be honest. Would the average person... This sounds really elitist because this is what these people talk like here, but is the average person capable of running a nation?
No. They don't have the ruthlessness.
Okay, so I'm telling you, they don't have the attention span for you to even have that conversation.
Right.
If you even start talking about, hey, we need to run the nation, dude, they're gonna start going tilt. When you start talking about all the intricacies of it. Yeah. Hell, forget about a nation. How about a city council?
Yeah.
Just a city council. Forget a nation. So, brother, we got America is what, a $60 trillion empire, a $60 trillion enterprise. You know how gargantuan that sum is? Can the average American manage $60 trillion? 60 trillion. Could the average American manage an enterprise of $1 million? Much less 60 trillion. That right there, I mean, I'm just saying, just trying to wrap your head around that. That right there is going to make most people check out and say, okay, get somebody else in here. That's the, you know, right there, 95% of the population is going to say, get somebody else in here. Yeah, not me. But for what reason? They're not even going to look at it. They're not even going to try to figure it out. Because they're more scared. They're like, this thing's too big. There's zero chance I do this well. I'm going to screw this up. Get somebody else in here. And here comes Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy. I'll take that for you. And that's how you got here.
Yeah, I mean, just having the stomach for the type of ruthlessness that you need to hold on to that power is just one thing. I mean, because like you said, you said about attention, but it takes the attention and the ruthlessness to keep it going. I got an enemy over here, got to get rid of them. I got somebody that looks like they have the potential to be an enemy over here, got to get rid of them. It just takes that, and that's where they have it at. And most Black people, most of us, we turn our attentions and our ruthlessness inward instead of looking outward and trying to pull it in, into something those are the ingredients of that ambitiousness that you're talking about, that savage hunger. You know what I mean?
If you gave most people power, they wouldn't know what to do with it. If you gave most of them power, they'd go buy some, some wheels or some rims or a house or something. They would buy some toys. The people who run the world don't get toys. They don't do that. So it's a difference in mindset. And like I say, I mean, it's hard to manage because no government has ever sat down and said, they talk about democracy. Well, they mean democracy as in voting, as opposed to folks shooting it out to determine who runs things. Right. But by the same token, no government that I've ever seen has sat down and said, we are going to teach every one of our citizens how to be power brokers in the socio-political arena. There's no course that does that. From the time you get born to the time you get to college, there's no course that teaches that. And I have never seen a government in the past or currently that makes that a priority to teach their population the power dynamics of statecraft. They don't.
The people you're going to lord over.
They don't want to educate you in that. Hell, they barely educate folk about finances, but they don't. Well, they barely do reading and writing. But none of them, I don't care where you are. You can talk about the places that do excel at reading and writing. They don't teach the young children statecraft and political science.
Russia,
they don't teach them that in India, South Korea, China, all that talk about math and stuff. I know what they don't teach you. No one teaches that. No government teaches that anywhere. So what are they really saying? By definition, this is a conversation you don't even have. So, it's like I remind people that there are certain languages that don't have words for certain things. In Japanese, there really isn't a word that means unfair. So if you don't even have a word for the word unfair in your language, what does that tell us? You don't really have a concept of it. Or at least your concept certainly would not be mine, which is much more articulated. If you haven't even been taught what statecraft is and you're a grown person, do you realize what I'm going to have to do to educate you about that? You might not like your lot in life, but do you realize what I'm going to have to teach you so that you can understand how to deconstruct this and how to make a difference and hopefully not get yourself killed before you get there? And oh yeah, you're just one person. Now the other 300 million who are not being taught or told anything and are actively being distracted, and the school system is deliberately omitting this stuff because they want the privileged aristocracy to have that. There's a reason why right now, in the White House has been a revolving door of people. And I'm not talking about just now. People, America has always been a revolving door. Do y'all realize that?
Oh, yeah.
You had the original founders, and it basically got passed around to them. John Adams and his son. You want to talk about families? It started then. It started from the very beginning. It started from the very beginning. From the very beginning. You get to the 20th century, Franklin Roosevelt and his cousin Teddy, or Teddy and then his cousin Franklin. The Kennedys. You want to talk about brother, it just went round and around. Once the Clintons got in, Reagan and the Bushes, round and round we go. Trump is going round and round with himself, so he's outdone everybody. Although I'm telling y'all, he's going to want his kids to get in. He's eventually going to have them get in.
The ties have always been incestuous.
Right, but what I'm saying, though, is but why is that? Because they're being taught something different from you.
Oh, yeah. That's
all these people have secret societies. All of them.
Skull Bones, the Masons.
Starting with the Masons, although it does not end there, but starting with the Masons, and then later you had other speciations like Skull and Bones, but that's not the only one. There's a number of them, but the bottom line is that's where they are. That's where they are, and that's what they do. And so I'm telling you, whatever y'all are talking about at the Black Greeks, you're obviously not talking about the same thing they're talking about at Skull and Bones. Because I'm looking at your results in there, so very clearly they're talking about something over there that you're not talking about, which means they know something you don't know, which means they can do things you can't do.
Yeah, they don't go to school for education. They go to school to network.
Yeah, even the people who think they're powerful. HBCUs, you got some folk there who think they're powerful. I'm like, stop fooling yourself. Take a look at what these other folk are doing, and then take a look at where you at. Very clearly, you don't know what they know. You ain't got it. They got power, and you just wish you did. And I'm not saying that to be demeaning. I'm just saying this is a mathematical fact. So the masses have never been power brokers. Chasing power comes with huge risks. And as I said, most people are risk averse. They don't want discomfort. Take a look at Charlie Kirk. Most people are not going to try to risk that. Take a look at Malcolm. When you start chasing power, there's somebody who's willing to do everything, including kill you. And most people are like, okay, once they realize that you mean I can die? Yes, you can die. Okay, I'm out. That is enough to run off most people. It's not even death, just the threat of it. Hell, not even really death. You'll lose some money. Oh, it'll cost you. That's enough to make most people tap out and say, okay, I can't risk that.
Sounds like you got to have the stomach for it.
The young man, who called up here earlier and said, Jason, how do you keep going? One of the major reasons I've been able to do so is because I don't have any children. Imagine if I had a family. Imagine if I had children. When you got kids and stuff, you got to think about things differently. I've gone into dangerous places. I've gone to unite the right. I was out there in the streets in Charlottesville after it happened. I was down there in Noonan, Georgia right after it happened. And that's why I showed you all the armored vehicles and stuff. I was in the middle of it, and it can go down at any moment here. I've been in places where I've seen all kinds of sketchy things happen. And yes, some of them were downright dangerous. I was able to do that because I didn't have kids. If I had children, would I be willing to still do that? If I had a wife and kids, would I still be willing to do that?
In the gangster movies, they always mention that. They say, "Oh, it would be a shame if something happened to your lovely wife Laura or your kid Kimberly." So they always just throw it out there, like, "Hey, you sure you really want to go through with this move?"
And that's if you get externally threatened. What about internally? Just knowing that, hey, your worldview changes when you're single versus when you have children. Now, I'm confident that I would still keep going. I mean, Malcolm kept going. I'm confident I would still keep going, but I am also cognizant that that colors the math, man. That colors the math. And I get that. So that's not lost on me. For a lot of folk there, that's what they think about. They got, kids, college tuition, cars, mortgages, so that math of keeping that train on the track is enough to make most people just say, man, let me just keep my head down. Let me just keep my head down and not stir up any trouble. And that situation to keep your head down, that's engineered. That's engineered. That's not something you naturally came to. That was engineered by the folk at the top.
Oh, yeah.
To keep you in such a precarious situation, you better show up for work tomorrow. Otherwise, everything comes off the track. Most Americans can't afford a $500 expenditure. That's not artificial. That's engineered. So yeah, you better show up for work. You better keep your head down. You better not do anything to get you fired. You better not make any trouble. Well, yeah, you can't afford any interruption in your income whatsoever. You better not start no trouble. For any reason. You better not start anything. Soft force. Nobody came to threaten you. Nobody pulled out the gun, but you've been forced into it. So that's soft force. And that is enough to work on the majority of the masses throughout history, but particularly in our day and age. That's enough. So the only thing I've tried to do is make sure that the stuff that's been happening, I want it to get more severe. And I know that sounds terrible, but I wanted this to happen. I wanted the white supremacists to get back in power because the only thing that got people mobilized was when these guys were out there wilding out. When the white supremacists have power, then they start going overboard with it, and that galvanized people against them. So the solution was not to give the Democrats power and make the Republicans get quiet. The solution is, Democrats, you ain't worth a damn. You sit down and give these white supremacists all the power they can get so they can go hog wild with it. So people, and now you're going to have to just live with it for the next 4 years, which means that there will be a nonstop campaign of discomfort. And people will not be allowed to get comfortable for the next 3 years. And that means that they are going to have to become mobilized and stay mobilized. Now, maybe that'll change some things. It kind of already has started. I'll let you have the last word.
Oh, no. Thanks again, Jason, for letting me speak. As always, great conversation. Great points, and again, just thank you. B1.
B1, brother, thank you for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all, the books about power and stuff, they are not math books. I've read them all. I have read them all. They are not math books. Plato's Republic, Aristotle, they are not math books. The writings of Napoleon, no math, no grammar composition, for goodness sake. I know it ain't that. And the folks who run things, yeah, you can mock them and stuff like that. You're like, okay, you're smarter than they are in the game. This is not an IQ test. All these folks talking about IQ. By the way, the folks running it, they ain't got IQs. There's the crazy part. This is not an IQ test. So whatever they say is reality, that's the reality. For the way they play the game, that is the reality. So just recognize your ability to, quote, reason with them. I don't do this so you all can reason with them. I do this so you all can understand them. I just do this so you can understand. I don't do this so you can, quote unquote, reason with them. I've never tried to delude you or deceive you into thinking that this is about reasoning. And then I want you to understand Tucker Carlson. I want you to understand him. If he makes points, I want you to be able to debunk them, but I do not want you to reason with him. He's already told you the problem is not that you're wrong. The problem is that you're not white. The problem isn't that you're not right. The problem is that you're not white. Well, there's nothing to reason with there. This isn't that he doesn't understand. And if I get you all straightened out on that, and then you get your kids, the folk around you, your nieces, your nephew, your friends, your relations, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, everybody else there, to the ones who are receptive, you get them straightened out. Next thing you know, you have a whole lot more people who recognize what the deal really is. They focus their energies where it matters, and they don't waste time where it doesn't, which is what Brother Neely Fuller taught us. Once you realize and accept what white supremacy is and understand how it really works, now you can focus your energies where they really matter, collaborating with each other, and you don't waste it in places where it doesn't matter. Let me reason with this white supremacist and bring him to the love of Jesus while he thinks demons are attacking him. What? Now that you're no longer wasting your time with that, now you can focus that energy where it will do some good. Start changing things. Which is where we are right now. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. Thank you all for sticking around there while we gave that little history etymology lesson there. Wanted to have an opportunity to do that. And you all should check into those things. Check into them, learn some things. There's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that happens. And throughout history, the people who've been taught how to run the society and whatnot, man, they get taught from a whole different book than you get taught from. They get taught different lessons. There's a reason why they talk about Harvard Business School, the Wharton School of Business. What they teach at those places is nothing like what you get taught at your elementary school or your public school or private school. It is nothing like what you get taught there. Not at all. Not at all. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Pam Greer. Thank you very much for your support tonight, Pamela. We appreciate that. To Muffy, Mogul Maze, Alyssa Bay, Ru Lee, Fuquan, and everybody else here tonight, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. If you have enjoyed tonight's program here and want to stay up to date with it, click that subscribe button. Hopefully we have earned your subscription tonight. And if we haven't, hey, check back with us next week. Give us an opportunity to go ahead and earn it again for you. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.